time is 14:09/9/17/2025, and this is the Legendary Duo Podcast, episode 8. And what's good?
What up?
Oh yeah, and like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get to it. So
let's get into it.
Oh yeah, so our last episode was the kid dancing on the boat. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Alright, so keep that in mind. This clip right here, this is gonna come into context later.
Right now, we're gonna have my man commentate on the Ari Spears Ice Cube controversy, the legendary Scruncho. Word. This nigga's legendary? Based on what? What has he done? How long has he been in the game?
Well, I know he got
Who
into
the fuck knows who Scruncho is outside of the local ghetto community of comedy?
I know who he is.
Community.
Okay, just in case, I don't know if my intro was muted or not, but this is episode 8, Legendary Duo Podcast. And that was our what's it called? Foreshadow. Alright, so next we going to the IG post, which is very short, this episode. So oh yeah, okay, here we go. Alright, so this is crazy because I looked it up and it's actually true. So this dude right here is 75 years old.
What?
He was born in 1950.
What?
So how do you feel about that?
Damn. He look good. Like he could get my digits if I was single. I ain't lie. He nice and fit.
Yeah.
Damn.
So this is
75?
Does this give you hope for you being 75 years old?
Come on now. I'm not worried about that. He looks amazing.
Everybody should be worried about that, but you know.
I mean, you know.
Very inspirational. You know, this has to be the number one 75-year-old ever. You know, he's really killing the game.
You know, black don't crack, so you know a lot of.
Yeah, he's Jewish though.
Yeah, I know.
But you know, he's killing the game. You know, he looks really good for 70. He's in shape. He can walk. You know, I mean, that's all that really matters. He doesn't have cancer. He's good.
Yeah, he looks amazing.
He's good, especially for 75. So Young Thug revealed a new trash song.
What?
Called Whoop-De-Doo. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy.
Isn't it a song?
Yeah. Whoop-De-Doo. The trunk in the front. Whoop-De-Doo. Today's not the ride. Whoop-De-Doo. I'm spending 100. Whoop-De-Doo. We shot cause it's fun. Whoop-De-Doo. Emilio Coochie. Whoop-De-Doo. On top of her coochie. Whoop-De-Doo.
Did you listen to the song?
Yeah, I'm not thinking about Young Thug. I mean, I heard it, but I thought somebody did a Whoop-De-Doo already.
Nope.
Well, yes, I am. I'm having a baby with my boyfriend, Stefan Diggs.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. How are you feeling about that? And that this will be baby number 4 for you, Cardi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm actually I'm excited. I'm happy. I feel like I'm in a good space. I feel very strong. I feel very powerful that I'm doing all this work, but I'm doing all this. Well.
She's pregnant and she has an album coming out Friday. What a big coincidence. But what do you think about that?
I think it's amazing. I'm happy for her. She seems happy. You know, I don't know anything about the guy, but yeah. And, you know, yes, this is her 4th child, but it's not like she got 4 baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? And she was married when she had her first set. That didn't work out. So, you know, life moves on. So I'm happy for her and I'm glad. And I think we talked about this another time about how, you know, guys can be sometimes, but he made sure he got her pregnant right away.
I usually think it's crazy that she left one thought to be with another thought.
I don't know anything about him.
Oh.
I don't know anything about him, but she seems happy. So, you know, she gonna always have a little, you know, street. So, I wouldn't be surprised if she ain't upgraded to these 1%ers and she stayed with the ones who got it out the mud like she do, you know.
Yeah, I wonder, are they gonna get married? This was we moved to the next topic. So it was a football game and it was 67-0. And this is what everybody did.
I hate them.
Anyways, what do you think about that?
I think it's hilarious.
What do you think about What do you think about this? Right?
And the results are in. 6-7.
What do you think about that?
It's hilarious. Maury gonna stay with the shits. I see he had a hard time getting up. He wasn't no Harvey, but
I'm surprised he's still alive. I thought he kicked the can, but I guess that was the other one. Rest up to him.
he's still married to Connie Chung, right?
I don't know who the fuck that nigga married to. I don't know nothing about that nigga. I know he funny though. He got the aura.
Yes.
What did he say? He said
Where did he get that from?
why be better? That's what he said. Yeah, tweeted that. It's true. And now we move on to our last topic, which is Donald Trump. Okay, so this was about like early September, like the 1st or something. It was rumors that Donald Trump had died because he had disappeared for like 4 days. So how do you feel about him potentially dying and his people potentially covering up, and JD Vance being the new president, which is all three things that can happen within a year?
Damn, within a year?
Yeah, within the year. Yeah, within the year.
Yeah, I'll rebuke that. He gonna live out his term.
Yeah, I rebuke that, but I doubt it. But if he did, that would be better. But how do you feel about that? Him potentially dying and his people covering up. Do you think that's a possibility?
Yeah. I don't know anything about JD Vance.
Hold on, but what about the first one? That he can go out and they wouldn't tell us
I can't
until
say
it's
it.
like later.
I can't say it in the order that I want to say it in.
I guess you can, whatever. Yeah, say it then.
How you know I ain't building up to something?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about JD Vance, but with you thinking this way, I'm going to have to dig into him to see what's going on. I don't know anything about him. With that being said, yes, if he was to pass away, they are supposed to hide it, at least for as long as possible.
Why would they hide it? They're supposed to tell us immediately so we can change power immediately. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not going to say immediately. I say 72 hours. Because I don't know anything about him. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, well, they hope he make it." People who are not supporters, they hope he make it because they don't want old boy to be the president. So that was just like with Kamala and Joe Biden. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Joe Biden, but I damn sure wanted him to make it so the vice president wasn't president.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he gonna go out. I don't think he gonna go out in the next 4 years because he's just too lucky. It would just be, niggas just get by real lucky. But JD Vance, he's like a bitch ass nigga. He should not be president. We definitely would have been better off having Kamala than him. But anyways, Fox News, the largest news network in America, and the most corrupt news network ever, settling the largest defamation lawsuit ever in the history of all of America for lying to their own people. And definitely they're really in with Trump to an extreme degree. Like he could probably just he'd probably walk in there fully nude and nobody would tell him to leave because he just owns the whole building. But his this is the, what's it called? Is this Fox and Friends? I don't know. The daily Foxcast. This is their suggestion for homeless people. And as we know, Fox and Trump campaign is like a circular thing. So they tell them what to say, or he might get an idea from Fox and he might incorporate it into his thoughts. So this might happen within the next couple of years. So
I feel so compassionate because you see the mental health crisis happening.
Exactly.
And it's not our job. We shouldn't have to live in fear. Put them in a mental institution, put them in a jail.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian.
We feel so compassionate because you see the mental health.
On Fox News.
Is that real? Was that inserted in?
This is real from my understanding.
Involuntary lethal injection, man. You gotta watch them needles to the neck. You gotta watch them needles to the neck.
So, what do you think about this?
Damn, do he mean? Look, why do you have it froze right there? Like what? Look
That's
at the
him.
thumbnail. Look at
Right.
Oh, I was about to say something, but I think that's hilarious that he said that. Absolutely disrespectful, and that's so crazy that he thinks that way.
Because you see the mental.
Look at him, he's disgusted. He's one of the people who probably don't believe in the March of Dimes.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but how do you feel about them suggesting that they should kill or the government should kill homeless people.
That sounds stupid. Some people are down on their luck. Just because they're homeless for that moment doesn't mean that, you know, they got mental health issues. Or no, don't get me wrong. A lot of people with mental health issues do end up being homeless for whatever reason, but everybody homeless don't have mental health issues or criminals or whatever. And just because you're down don't mean you gonna stay down. Some people might be homeless for like a year and a half until they get their life together, get a chance. You know, some people might have felons, some people might have evictions on their name, you know, and can't, you know, I know somebody who had a good job and it took them 18 months to find a place because they had an eviction on their name, and people won't rent to people for 2 years, you know. So I think that's ridiculous, and I want to know, do he still has a job?
Of course. Do you think that this is something that could happen within the next 4 years?
Not outright, you know, in one of those secret files, you know, maybe they'll start putting needles in the necks of the homeless people and stuff like that.
The Trump campaign has done literally everything. I remember Brandon said that Trump is a beacon of transparency. And I remember the no jumper niggas were trying to argue. And I know people try to do this thing like, oh, Trump has his master plan. Like, he doesn't just tell you, oh, well, I'm not going to say that Jeffrey Epstein took her from the hotel, but yes, he did take her. And she had died within like a couple of months, you know, committed suicide. He was like, oh yeah, that girl, it was her. He tells the truth about everything he's going to do. So if he's going to do something like that, don't you think he'll be like, yeah, this is what we're doing.
True.
This is new. We're doing this.
That's
and
true.
No, everybody's going to get liable.
And I was going to say, you know, the FBI will cover it up, but he don't give a damn. He's the president, and he moves like the owner. He moves like the landlord, you know.
Do you think that's do you think it's a possibility that can happen soon?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about Trump and how Trump is. I do agree that he's that way. But if they do something like that, I think it would be secret. Maybe Trump wouldn't know. Maybe they'll be, because you know they kill all type of people. They have all type of, we doing the research, we giving vaccines, we doing this and we doing that. You know, and they be injecting people and stealing people's DNA and
theories.
all type of. What did you talk?
That doesn't actually happen.
That does happen.
Maybe in China or Russia, but
no. Back in the day, you know, those people down south, there was, you know, and they had syphilis and
like
all that.
1895.
Regardless, it happens. The country is like the government still, you know, and then they took the black lady DNA and made all type of vaccines off of it. You know, they do secret stuff. Don't make it. Regardless, it's the same United States of America. They do things, and they have it concealed or covered up or closed until they unseal it. And if they do something like this, I don't think it would be outright. I think it would be some Olivia Pope type stuff.
What did you say?
I said, I don't remember what I was saying.
Yeah. This is something that they could end up doing. I mean, I don't think this would really end up well for them. I mean, maybe like some institutions or something, you know, some camps or something, or some, I don't know, put those niggas in the army, send them to Australia, but taking them out the game, that's pretty crazy.
I don't think that like Americans will really go for that, because people, regardless if people are homeless, I'm just talking about people. People, regardless if people are homeless or their family is strung out on drugs or all of that, people still F with them even though they can't live with them or don't help them in certain ways. Somebody uncle or father or child is strung out on drugs and homeless and stuff like that, you think they just gonna allow them to just go missing like that without? Nah.
Yeah. Okay. So allegedly, there's been a birthday letter leaked from Trump to Epstein. Apparently.
To the Trump presidency, the White House is working to distance President Donald Trump from the latest release of Epstein files,
including the 50th birthday message Trump allegedly wrote to Epstein in 2003. Check it out. The White House press secretary said the president is open to having handwriting analysis to look at this letter, while accusing Democrats of pushing the story for political gain.
Democrats view this story as nothing more than an attempt to distract from the accomplishments and the achievements of this administration.
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. And anybody that's covered me for a long time, no, that's not my language.
The Republican-led House Oversight Committee subpoenaed the documents from the estate of the late convicted sex offender, but some say the committee is not going far enough. In a separate effort, a bipartisan pair of House lawmakers is trying to force a vote on a measure calling for the full release of documents related to Epstein.
What do you hold on? What? Do I have the? Okay. All right. So this is the allegedly. I mean, let's just. Okay. So this is what it says. Hold on. I can't zoom in. It says voiceover. I don't know what this part is. I don't know who drew this or how this was drawn. No, it says voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common. Jeffrey, yes, we do. Come to think of it, Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Question mark. Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Donald, pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Donald J. Trump. I don't know what the fuck this is. So, do you think this is real, or this is like some fake shit? I don't know what the fuck this is.
I really don't care if it's real or not. I feel like, was he the president at the time? If not, then what does it matter if it was his letter or birthday thing or not? Because he already the president. Y'all already elected him. Now you should do all that digging and researching for people before you vote for them. He already voted in. So if this didn't happen when he was the president the last time, then what difference do it make?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it make a difference, but I don't know about this. I don't know what this is. This just seemed like some misinformation type shit. Niggas just be putting out shit. That seemed like some goofy shit. I never seen no shit like that before. I think they need to wrap it up on this Epstein stuff. Niggas need to move on to something else.
God bless the victims.
Niggas need to realize that, other shit is happening, and niggas need to get off of, conspiracy brained fantasies and shit like that. So let's get to the next topic. So it was a UFO sighted in I don't know where it was, but it was October 2024. I heard about this back then, but I think back then they didn't have the visual.
Showing a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone tracking a glowing orb as it flies over the water. Now watch closely as a different U.S. drone drops a Hellfire missile on that fast-moving orb. The missile appearing to bounce off the object, doing very little damage. The orb then zipping away unfazed. The video from October 2024 shown during a congressional hearing today on unexplained anomalous phenomena. That's the official name for UFOs.
Do you solemnly swear?
Several service members giving their own eyewitness accounts and reacting to that new video.
Does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Yes.
And there are big questions right now. Why was that missile fired? Did that object pose any risk?
So how do you feel about that UFO and then it get hit and then turn it into like 3 little pieces and kept moving?
I don't see it.
Videos of an.
You don't see what? What are you talking about?
I don't see that. I can't tell what that looks like.
You see this thing?
MQ-9 drone tracking an orb or this object off the coast of Yemen.
What is that?
This is water.
That
it's
another
MQ-9
launched a Hellfire missile. This is when it's zoomed out.
Can't really say that.
You can still see it traveling.
What do you mean? You can't tell what it is?
I need a better video or a better angle or whatever. That ain't. I don't. I can't really. Besides you telling me that, I can't say what I'm looking at.
Okay, so you see this. This is water, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now you see how everything is moving right here. This thing right here, it's like not moving. It's like staying still. This is the unidentified flying.
Is that staying still?
Yeah, this is a some drone. This is the camera is looking in, and this is its crosshairs, and it's highlighted in this circle thing right here.
Right. Yeah, that's what
and
I
it's
thought.
flying over water, right? And then a missile, they shoot a missile at it. They're gonna come in from right here. See, this is a missile. They shoot it here, it hits it. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
It breaks into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's over the ocean, right? It's over water, and it's flying, right? The missile hits, bounces off, comes into contact. You see?
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw.
What do you think about that?
I don't think anything about it.
Oh, so you know nothing at all?
No, nothing at all, because it's still not clear to me. I saw that the very first time. I get how you explained it. I see, but that's not like still like yeah, that ain't I don't get it. So
well, what they saying is that missile that they shot at it is one of the best missiles ever, and nothing affected it. So
interesting. Sound like we need to start going to the movies.
No, I don't think I don't know what that's gonna do. That's not gonna help.
To get ideas.
No, the movie is just fake.
On Mars. And so a year ago, we thought we found what we believe to be signs of microbial life on the Mars surface. And so we put it out to our scientific friends to pressure test it, to analyze it, and go, did we get this right? Do we think this is signs of ancient life on Mars? And after a year of review, they have come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
And today, we are really showing you how we're kind of one step closer to answering humanity's one of their most profound questions, and that is, are we truly alone in the universe? So last July, as Secretary Duffy eloquently described, NASA's Perseverance rover found a leopard-spotted rock at Mars. And scientists immediately knew, it was interesting, we hadn't seen anything like that before on Mars. And we talked about it last summer. The moment we found it, we put out the images for everybody to see and everybody to share in the joy of NASA science. And so they've done the analysis on these leopard spots, and we think they are potentially made by some sort of ancient life.
These textural features told us that something really interesting had happened in these rocks. Some set of chemical reactions occurred at the time they were being deposited. And so we really wanted to understand what those reactions might have been. This sort of combination of mud and organic matter that has reacted to produce these minerals and these textures is that when we see features like this in sediment on Earth, these minerals are often the byproduct of microbial metabolisms that are consuming organic matter and making these minerals as a result of those reactions. But there are non-biological ways to make these features that we cannot completely rule out on the basis of the data that we collected with our rover payload. So what we need to do from here is to continue to do additional research in laboratory settings here on Earth, and ultimately bring the sample that we collected from this rock back home to Earth so that we can make the final determination for what process actually gave rise to these fantastic textures.
I want to remind
This very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
So last July, NASA's Perseverance rover found a leopard-spotted rock at Mars. And scientists immediately knew, it was interesting, we hadn't seen anything like that before.
What we saw in this rock were these layers of very fine-grained, rusty red mudstone that had in them these incredible features, these things that we took to calling poppy seeds, which are the sort of dark black spots in the rock, and leopard spots, which are these kind of ring-shaped features that have dark rims around them.
They've done the analysis on these leopard spots, and we think they are potentially made by some sort of ancient life. This finding by our incredible Perseverance rover is the closest we've actually come to discovering ancient life on Mars.
The discovery of a potential biosignature or a feature or signature that could be consistent with biological processes, but that requires further work and study to confirm.
Do you know what they're saying? Or do you want me to explain? So basically they have found signs that life or organic living organisms, I don't know, may have been alive on Mars millions of years ago, and they know that, or they assume that based on some testing that they did on rocks, which could, well, they said could point to life or something else, but they are ruling life more likely than not. So how do you feel about this?
I mean, I'm not surprised. None of this surprised me. Like, I've been thinking that it was, life outside of Earth. So that ain't, or if not, still it was in the past, or it's not surprising to me. So.
Yeah, I don't know if it doesn't even matter. I mean, what they're describing, because life is not really that valuable, organism, independent of really humans, living things. It doesn't really matter if there was life on Mars, because it probably wasn't intelligent life like that anyway. So who really cares? Anyways, so over the weekend, Qatar, who is an American ally in the Middle East, who gave Donald Trump $150 million jet on some super duper glazed shit, like within he got in there like within the first 2 months of him going there. And he's a super duper Israel simp, but Israel had actually attacked the headquarters of Qatar to allegedly get some Hamas members. So this is what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, wait. Let me get to it. And then hold up. Wait. Oh yeah. So apparently they said that they got Hamas leaders, which could be, because I think it's like no more left. I mean, it has to be like none left. And I think there are no more left. I think like they got everybody. And I think like they're actually moving into Gaza City. That's what they said on the news, and they're going in there right now. So it's looking bad for those niggas over there. But besides that, they had asked Trump,
Thought you in advance, Mr.
what
President.
did he think about this? Because Qatar, those are his homies, and this is.
Did Israel tell you in advance?
So you were caught by surprise, sir? You were caught by surprise?
I'm never surprised by anything, especially when it comes to the Middle East.
How did you learn about this happening?
I'll be giving a full statement tomorrow, but...
Anyways. But they did not tell that nigga that they were going to attack Qatar. They just did it, and he found out like all the rest of us. How do you feel about Israel going behind his back and attacking Qatar and not telling him, and him being not knowing, but also not being surprised, because he's not surprised by anything?
I feel like it is what it is.
It's not a good look. All that glazing he does to those niggas in Israel, and for him or for them to attack Qatar like that. Me personally, if I was Trump, I would have had to call that nigga BB, and I would have gave him I can't do it because the mic, but I would have had to slap that nigga. And I would have had to, I would have had to publicly shit on him for, playing on my top if I was Trump. But, he, I don't know. He, that's his homie, I guess. But
hi, I'm Andy Levian.
Recently, or within, the last 7 days, a bunch of niggas, damn it. Recently, a bunch of niggas had pulled up to Trump at this restaurant. Hold on, wait, I do got the video. And they were hating. So, hold on, let's watch it.
Let's go. Let's go. Time to go. Trump is the Hitler of our time. Free DC. Free Palestine.
I don't know why when he walked over there, he like acted like he didn't hear. I don't know what the fuck was happening. It's like he was walking over there, they were screaming it. He's just lost. He's not paying attention, or I don't know what he's doing. And then when he pulls up here, he's like, "Hold on, are they talking about me?" He's like, "What the fuck?" And then they're screaming this at them, and nothing's happening. Why are they still here?
Right, they should have been tackled.
Oh my God!
First of all, why the restaurant not closed down with random people in there?
Oh my God! So, what do you think about that?
I think that's hilarious. I loved his face. Like, really? Are this what we doing? Is this what we doing? He did. Get him the fuck out of here. I would fire every security that I had in that moment. They shouldn't have been. People was crazy. What if somebody jumped over the table? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh boy, just got.
Yeah, those is hoes.
Regardless, still, it's somebody shouldn't have been able to get that close to him, especially heckling. Now I see in a stadium or something like that, they're right there. You don't get these motherfuckers up out of here.
Yeah. protesting in the modern day, unless it's financial or just an outcome that you already have before you begin the protesting, is entirely performative and dumb. People on the left, especially, only people who know how to really protest is niggas on the right, because they really about that shit. But niggas on the left, when it comes to protesting, it's not really about effectiveness, because that was just entirely pointless. It was nothing. And if niggas wanted to free Palestine, they should have voted for Kamala Harris. I don't know why they voted for Trump, or why they decided not to vote for Kamala or vote for some third party nigga. And then when Trump's in office, talk about some free Palestine. And also, I don't know how they were allowed in that restaurant. I don't know who didn't kick those niggas out as soon as they start doing that. He shouldn't even have told those niggas to move, because right. I don't even know how they were allowed to get that close to the president. I mean, shit, can I just walk up in there?
That's the thing. The president don't got nothing to do with who the president is. The fuck is they getting so close to the president and somebody just got hit in the neck? That's crazy.
Yeah, those niggas in Russia, managed somehow. No, they've only really done, like, I guess you could say 2 things. They went to the moon and created nukes. Independent of that, they really don't really have. We're lucky to have our illusion of the Russian military be broken by their inability to, really win this war against Ukraine. They're doing everything they can. So now what they've done recently is they've entered Poland, their territory, to get to Ukraine, and those Polish niggas were not having that. So let's look at this. And Poland, I don't know if was Poland a part of the Soviet Union, but I think it might have been. Just assume it was. All right, I just assume it was.
Saying it is shot down. News from Poland, another important U.S. ally, saying it has shot down Russian drones that entered its airspace during an attack on Ukraine. About 10,000 American troops are stationed in Poland, which is a NATO ally, of course. Ramy Inocencio was following that part of the story. Ramy, good morning.
Tony, yes, good morning. And Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk says the military clocked 19 drones that it says violated Polish airspace, and that 3 or perhaps 4 drones were shot down. NATO spokesperson said this is the first time that NATO planes have engaged potential threats in Allied airspace. The high-pitched whoosh of fighter jets over Poland, reacting to what the government says was Russia's violation of the country's and NATO's airspace. Poland assessing the damage to homes and land. Poland's prime minister relieved there were no casualties, but, said Donald Tusk, we are most likely dealing with a large-scale provocation. The incursion forced Warsaw's Chopin International Airport to suspend operations temporarily. It was just last week, Poland's president, Karol Nawrocki, spoke with President Trump at the White House on boosting Poland's defenses.
American machines opened our meeting. It was great. And we are waiting for 32 F-35s in Poland.
That U.S. hardware seen as essential for NATO defense as Russia relentlessly pounds Ukraine next door. This past weekend, Moscow launched a record more than 800 drones on Ukraine, damaging a government building in the capital. Trump's latest comment on Russian engagement just last night.
So Putin's going to have Nepal will happen this week?
I think so. I think this week or early next week. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy it.
And NATO spokesperson said, in fact, several NATO allies or their systems responded to Russia's incursions. The Netherlands Air Force responded with fighter jets. An Italian early warning aircraft was also launched, and German Patriot missile batteries in Poland were also placed on alert. But one of Russia's top diplomats in Poland says there has been no evidence that those drones came from Russia.
Those niggas in Russia, I don't know what's happening over there. I wish they could be a better country. I wish they can be a force for good in the world, but that's just, I guess, not, what they're meant to be in this timeline. But luckily for us, we managed to, or they managed to all team up immediately and get those niggas out of there. I didn't know, or I was surprised that they actually took those niggas out, because I didn't think that. I thought they were just gonna let them slide. But the fact that they took those niggas out, it's not a good look. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
First Poland, now Romania. For a second time this week, there's been a drone incursion into NATO airspace. This latest incident happened on Saturday during a Russian attack on western Ukraine. According to Kyiv, the drone strayed 10 kilometres into Romanian territory and was operating there for nearly an hour. In response, Romania scrambled fighter jets and warned citizens in the area to take cover. No one was hurt, no shots were fired, and it's not the first time a drone has entered Romanian territory since Russia began waging war on Ukraine. But this latest incident comes at a time of heightened tension. Just a few days ago, Poland shot down a number of Russian drones in its airspace after what it claimed was a deliberate provocation from Moscow. It was the first known time a NATO member has fired shots in the conflict. Now, Russia denies targeting Poland, but many in the West view these incursions as a test of NATO's defences, and they're sounding the alarm. Not only that, it all comes at a time when Russia is holding military drills with Belarus practically on NATO's doorstep. That's prompted Poland to close its border with Belarus and hold drills of its own. Now, the Kremlin dismisses Europe's concerns over these exercises as an emotional overload. It insists they're defensive and not aimed at anybody. But the last time they were held 4 years ago here, it led to a massive build-up of Russian troops on Belarus soil that was then used for Moscow's invasion of Ukraine a few months later. And so all of this, together with the drone incursions, it's making for an increasingly anxious time on Europe's eastern flank.
Yeah, so on top of, everything
Poland.
That's happening in the world and with just everybody, Russia, for some reason, is, continuing to provoke NATO. I think they're trying to test and see how much Donald Trump is willing to get behind, or how much the U.S. is willing to stand behind NATO. But I think Russia, or Putin more specifically, because he's actually intelligent, I think he might be trying to play both sides, because his war efforts aren't going well. His economic efforts, everything is just going bad over there. And I think recently in Trump too, I think the Europeans have been super duper, well, along with everybody else, glazing Trump to the max level degree, because they understand how he falls for the glaze, and they understand that was really Putin's job, glaze. And I think Trump is not somebody who's going to stand with Russia, even though maybe I thought he would, and just endlessly side with them, especially over the Europeans, if he wants to end the war and he feels that Russia is standing in the way of him ending the war and getting the credit for ending the war. So I think that he's gonna, well, you'll see what happens later, but I think that these entering into NATO spaces, I think if it continues, then it's going to be a response from America as well. What do you think about them doing that?
I think it's true, and I think it should be a response. But I think it's crazy that they're trying to act like that's not their stuff. Like, whose else is it? Who's flying over everybody's stuff? That's wild.
Yeah, but you know how they get over there.
Yeah.
In response, a couple. In response to that, some NATO countries have sent, planes over there. Like France, who is, as some people say, the arch nemesis of Germany. I mean, not Germany. It should be Germany, because what Germany did to them, but it's actually Russia, which they say. Which I only heard that recently, but apparently it's a thing from like Napoleon days or some shit like that, when they should be worried about England and Germany, and I think Spain. I don't know if Spain and France ever went to war again. I think they teamed up, right? I forgot. But those niggas in France, they had sent some jets over to or to show strength or whatever. So how do you feel about France doing that? Sending these jets over 3 days ago?
I mean, I guess you kind of have to do something, right?
Yes, you do.
And I'm glad to see other people stepping in, because a lot of times, well, like I said, I tapped out of politics probably about 2 years ago, but I need to tap back in. But a lot of times people expect Big Brother to go do something and hold stuff down and be the first one to, so it's good to see. By that I mean America. But so it's good to see other people stepping in trying to do something.
Yeah.
Or make a show.
I gotta get some water. Okay, so this was after, I think it was after Romania as well. So Putin deploys nuclear bombers in World War III games in Belarus. So apparently, I don't know how verified this is, but I've seen this on Instagram as well. So apparently he's sending bombers to Belarus, which I'm assuming is some Eastern European country that's borders Russia, who's like a country that simps for Russia, because there are some Russian simping countries. So how do you feel about that and potentially World War III? How do you feel about it?
I almost, well, I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's disrespectful, but yeah, it's wild. Like, how long he been going? Like
2001. 25 years.
Like, it's just crazy because with everything that's going on and with everybody tapping in or him going to different places and stuff like that, like, people always say, oh, World War III and stuff like that. And it's like, you never think you're going to see or hear that in your lifetime. That's just what people say, And just to see.
Yeah, but it almost happened with Iran.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Like 2 months ago.
That's what I'm saying. To see this now and know that it is put.
Yeah, but.
What?
This was happening. They was talking about this one.
World War III?
Hold up. They was talking about this in the 90s. I know it was talking about in the 80s.
I'm saying, like, people always be talking about World War III.
Always be talking about it.
Saying?
I thought
like,
you said they don't never
not
talk
just
about
like, it's supposed to be World War III. And just to see that it could, because, like I said, it just turned into white noise. Not saying it like that, but you never see anything close enough to be like, oh my gosh, yes, it's supposed to be World War III. You know what I'm saying? But now, with everything that's going on, it's just wild to see, like, damn, it could be a World War III. That's wild.
I think if World War III happens, it'll be singly 100% because of Donald Trump. He would start if it did happen. I think so, because he's psychotic. But besides that,
U.S. President Donald
he has responded.
Trump has issued an ultimatum to NATO allies, saying in a letter that the U.S. will issue what he called major sanctions on Russia only when all NATO member states agree to do the same and agree to stop buying oil from Russia. Taking to social media, the US president quoted from the letter, saying NATO's commitment to win has been far less than 100%, and the purchase of Russian oil by some has been shocking. It greatly weakens your negotiating position and bargaining power over Russia. Anyway, I am ready to go when you are. Just say when. Trump's demands come as Russia embarks on joint military drills with Belarus, said to be testing the readiness of their armed forces, and as NATO launches a new initiative dubbed the Eastern Sentry, aimed at reinforcing the defence of the alliance's eastern flank. The operation is set to begin over the coming days, involving the UK, France, Germany, Denmark and others. In an announcement on Friday, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said the Eastern Sentry operation will add flexibility and strength to the alliance's posture and make clear that NATO is always ready to defend. The decision to launch the operation follows a breach of Polish airspace early Wednesday by Russian drones, a move described by NATO's chief as both dangerous and unacceptable. But the Secretary General also noted that this was not an isolated incident, adding that Russia's, quote, recklessness in the air along NATO's eastern flank is increasing in frequency.
How do you feel about that?
I want to say she's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and I don't know what's wrong with me today. Do I need to eat? I just lost it just that fast. Damn, I'm focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah, Trump has been talking about sanctioning Russia, I think, since January, and he literally was crying up on social media about how the Europeans were like buying Russian oil. Like I remember distinctively hearing about this. This is actually, I don't know why. Maybe I've been just too brainwashed by all the retarded moments in the not explaining the executive orders, because having somebody explain to you your own executive orders in front of everybody on live TV is crazy. But this is a smart and intelligent response. If you, and this is because they were talking about World War III like January, but this is from Russia. Putin, or allegedly people were saying that like if we get sanctioned, we're going to World War III or some shit like that. They're going to like start dropping nukes or some stupid shit like that. Or this is what I heard, but they really would be upset if they got sanctioned, because on top of them going to war, if people stopped buying Russian oil, which is how they make most of their money, they would be completely cucked. But they would, lose their minds if they did this, because they would essentially be cut off from the rest of the world. And people talk about if you cut them off, then you won't have any way to negotiate with them, or if you're going to back them into a corner and they won't have any choice. But niggas always saying this, but I think Russian, I don't think the average Russian person even likes, maybe not say that. Russians, like, obviously, I mean, I don't mean to be that guy, but what is like Russian culture? Some people's cultures get like lost in communism. I think maybe, I feel like their culture got lost in like the Soviet Union, and now I feel like the normal people in the post-Soviet Union world, I think they might enjoy, being left or leaving behind their, Putin and, Soviet Union, and we have to take over Ukraine and let's take over the world again, and come into the new world of, trade and social media and freedom and, just great stuff. Right. I think they want that because, I'm only saying this because they rap and they like watch our movies and they do all that shit. I feel like if you like American culture, then I feel like you would like living American lifestyle of, freedom and not having just no freedom like how they have in Russia. And
I could see that.
And the buying the oil from Russia. That really, they should really stop that. And this could ultimately end up being better for us, NATO, them, doing that if, Trump stands behind them, if we all unite together. And the only problem I can see with this is if they somehow manage to get Russia under control and Trump keeps going with this, we're going to go kill the president of Venezuela stuff, that might not end up well, because you can't really tell this nigga, hey, you can't, go invade this country as you go invade the country. It's really not going to be a look, especially if those niggas in China are trying to invade Taiwan. But I think China has been trying to, secure our spot after this tariff thing, because they're really big on, self-glazing themselves and acting like they're like this, we're China, we've been around forever, and how they, but I hope Russia gets the message and they stay over there, they stop entering our stuff, and I hope Trump says stuff. You got anything else to say about it?
Yeah, when I was listening to it, I don't want to say I thought it was funny, but what I thought about was like, it's crazy how the brothers and sisters get together to gang up on somebody that they don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we all stick together and if we stop doing this, and it's so crazy because just like with siblings and, all of that shit work. If people team together and stand on what they say about not doing and not, man, like, I mean, it would really make a difference. It would, like, they would 100% feel that. And I feel sorry when I was listening to it for the the regular people there, but when you said what you said, I get it. I get what I can see that. I get what you mean.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is I don't think, like, we could have had, I think the closest we was to a World War III was during the Cuban Missile Crisis, when I forgot what happened. It's like I think they had moved boats to Cuba with missiles in them. I think that's after we had moved something there first. We had moved something close to their shit, so they moved their shit close. But I think what happened is that when they was coming over, I think we was supposed to shoot them if they crossed the line, but they end up crossing it, and I think it was like two lines, and we were supposed to, or it was something happened, and I think the Russian niggas were told to do it, or they thought they were told to do it, but they didn't have communication, and they decided that they weren't going to do it. One of their dudes had told them like, all right, we about to do it, man. We about to, I heard this is like real shit. This was back in '63, and they were about to do it. It was about to be the end for everybody. But the Russian niggas, one of they niggas, he told his captain like, bro, we shouldn't do it. Let's not do it. And we're all here today. And I don't think niggas in Russia want to die. I don't think anybody wants to go out in World War III. Even I remember when I was a kid, that Kim Jong-un nigga was talking about World War III. This was like 2013 when he was first getting new statistics. And even he didn't do it because nobody really wants to die or end the world, because it would be over for everybody except for like, people who live on islands and stuff. But nobody really wants that, So I think it would be good. But this is, I think this was today. What was it? 2 days ago. So this is the most recent thing we have on the Russia, NATO, Ukraine situation. I think Trump is in England like right now.
NATO has to get together. Europe has to get together and do it. Look, Europe they're my friends, but they're buying oil from Russia. So we can't be expected to be the only ones that are, full bore. But Europe is buying oil from Russia. I don't want them to buy oil. And the sanctions that they're putting on are not tough enough. And I'm willing to do sanctions, but they're going to have to toughen up their sanctions commensurate with what I'm doing. I'm ready to move ahead, but they have to do it. I think they will. But right now they're talking and they're not doing it. Look, they're buying oil from Russia. We're not buying oil from Russia. They're buying a lot of oil from Russia. That's not the deal. And I stopped 7 wars. I thought this was going to be an easy one for me, but this has turned out to be tough. The hatred between Zelensky and Putin is unfathomable.
Do you still believe that they will talk? That they will have a...
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to do all the talking.
That's his response to. How do you feel about that? Him saying that they already are sanctioning Russia. They have to go full board, more sanctions, stop purchasing oil. It's kind of like a China and America thing. There can never be anything because we just trade too much. Our countries are literally too intertwined. It's kind of like Europe and Russia in a way. Not always, but like especially the Eastern Europe countries. I think like France buys Russia from oil, and they're supposed to be like their arch enemies, yet they're buying oil from them. So how do you feel about Trump saying that they're gonna have to go harder if they want him to go harder?
I agree, because I hate when we have to come in and just clean shit up. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else pussyfooting around.
Yeah.
What he said makes sense.
Yeah, for real. And
it's other options to buy oil, I'm sure. It's not like, when they had going on what we had going on, and didn't Biden go over there and they chose not to sell it to him or something, but I'm quite sure it won't be like that where they have no other options. Now the price might be good or whatever, but if you stand on business, at this point you have to stand on business.
Yeah. I think I forgot to talk about this last week, but since we're going through all these countries, we're about to go through this plenty of countries. But I think like South Korea was mad about Trump like going in Chicago or something. It was so pathetic. And I was thinking about, I'm like, didn't we like create that country like literally or something like that? It was crazy. But so apparently Spain. I heard something about this on TikTok. It's crazy how real cause and effect really is. Stuff that you do really does cause and effect. This is real life. Yeah. And people don't realize that because they operate on temporary emotions. You got to really think about things. And I feel like we, as just the world, I feel like everybody in the world is going through this realization that action have consequences. If we feel this way, it's going to lead to this outcome. And I think this would be better, or hopefully this could end up making a better future for us young niggas, so that we're going through this timeline, we're seeing all this stuff that happening around us, that we can actually want to do stuff and get more involved and make things better for all of us. I hope that's what end up happening, and not that we actually do the opposite and get less involved in politics. Because when I think about it, all these leaders of these countries are all boomers, and there's not even millennial. Who's the first millennial leader of Russia or France or England? wait till we, the Zoomers, get up in there. When, you know, a Zoomer is in charge of China, a Zoomer is in charge of America, a Zoomer is in charge of France and Spain. Hopefully, you know, via, you know, really, I would say us Americans, us being, I guess, you know, we are the Gen Z. You know, we show these other niggas from these, and we're going to get to that later. We show these other niggas around the world how to be a real Gen Z nigga. So hopefully they could, you know, follow us when they become leaders of these free worlds. But Spain has
I got something to say.
Oh.
So we really the middle child for real, huh? We just forgot all about, you go straight from boomers to millenniums.
Oh, you mean Gen X?
I'm just saying. Damn.
I'm
Middle
sorry.
child for real, huh? I just wanted to say that. I see you went straight from boomer straight to, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck
Well,
us.
is that
huh?
is that my problem, or is that y'all fault for y'all not holding y'all self down like that? Because y'all got to stand on y'all.
We do.
Y'all
We
shit.
just stand back, you know what I'm saying? Mind our business as long as it ain't got nothing to do with us. We pop in when we have.
Nah, it might be a Gen X president.
But
or
I'm
whatever.
just saying, like, it wouldn't even, you just
But
dive
what-
right past.
What
that.
is Gen X? Which one is that? Like, I know what's that, like 70 to 80 or something like that?
I don't know. I'm just barely at the end. So
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I'm just
But, you know,
barely at the end.
Yeah, Gen X
But I don't
president or whatever. But I think what I'm saying about that is that I don't know if y'all are as immature. You know what I'm saying? Our generation and millennials are so immature that I wonder how they will fit as leaders. But not most of millennials. They're way more mature. I'm saying us, we are so immature that I wonder how our leadership, will that make us like each other? Because we'll have similarities by us being young and our like dumbass memes, you know, 6'7" and shit like that. You know, just shit that went international because social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's social media gonna bring us together more. Is what I'm, you know what I'm saying? But Spanish. Oh yeah, I heard about protests in Spain actually last year in like Barcelona, like September of 2024, about niggas complaining about tourists visiting Spain. So apparently, Spanish restaurants begging for tourists to come back after protests kill business. So they were protesting niggas coming to Barcelona in Spain, and I don't know why they were doing it, but they didn't like that, and you know, business is going bad over there. So.
Restaurants are now begging tourists to come back after this summer's anti-tourism protests. Mallorca's Old Town currently looks like this. Restaurants are half empty and waiters are standing around bored. Beach bars and tour organisers say business in July dropped 20% compared to last year. Now the government's under pressure to relax the anti-visitor messaging and get holidaymakers spending again.
So apparently it was this year, not last year. I don't know. Maybe it's a different protest last year. So how do you feel about in Spain, in there's low people going to restaurants because of the low tourist amount because of the protest there?
I feel two ways. Like, I get people not wanting terrorists to come because people come, they don't respect. I mean, sorry, they don't respect the culture sometimes, the land, the people. I could see maybe crime going up from people being drunk and just all type of stuff, and people not wanting to be bothered with that and keeping outsiders out. But at the same time, it's like that is how money, like that's how, you know, those businesses are paying taxes for roads and schools and all type of stuff, like to protest to the point where people like not, because that's a bad look. If people in a certain place that I want to go to are protesting like that, I'm not going. Y'all not gonna kidnap me and take my kidney or something like that on taking or something. I don't. Y'all might be aggressive toward tourists or, you know, setting them up in all type of ways. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, you really gonna have to make some deals, like have an exclusive area for tourists only and pick me up on a shuttle or something. I don't want to even take a lift to the resort because it might be a known resort for tourists. So that's wild.
Yeah. You know, Spain, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm Spanish, but you know, I have Spanish ancestry. You know, my ancestors, I guess you could say, come from Spain. But you know, when I think about Spain, you know, I think about like history. You know, what they did in the past. You know, all the colonization and the wars that they fought. But I don't know if, you know, the Spanish Empire. But like, what have they been doing? I think since like 1900. What are they doing? Like, I don't hear anything about Spain or like this person comes from like Spanish movies or Spaniards, anything coming from Spain. So I don't know anything about Spain. I literally don't know what they doing over there. I didn't know that this is what they was worried about. But I mean, shout out to Spain. I actually have heard that the people there are like not nice. Like they're like dickheads, like French people or something.
I can see that.
It's crazy. Actually, I heard that about a lot of European places. That's France, Spain, and Italy, and Australia. Not England. Though. People say like England. Speaking of England, so in England, they still, it's 2025, and they don't have freedom of speech. So let's get into it.
Be unmasked after a police investigation was launched into a new artwork depicting a judge attacking a protester with a gavel, which appeared on Monday outside the Royal Courts of Justice in London. The Metropolitan Police said it was investigating the graffiti as potential criminal damage, which, if brought to court, would require the artist to publicly disclose his name. Security guards were stationed beside the artwork after its discovery, and it is now being chemically removed from the walls.
So somebody painted some shit on a wall outside of, I'm assuming it's to be some courthouse in England, and they're on that nigga's hill. So how do you feel about that?
I think the artwork is absolutely amazing. I think it's amazing. I feel that photo or painting or whatever you want to call it, but I think it's messed up that they did graffiti. I don't know if you want to send a message so passionately. You should have like got a.
Yeah, but don't you think it's crazy that that's considered a message in England? Like, that's a political... Like, if that would have happened in America, don't you think they would have just, like, washed it off and nothing would happen? They wouldn't have been looked into investigate that shit, right? You think so?
No, I don't think it would have... They would have started, but I don't think it would have... They wouldn't have, I'm not going to end until I find this person type stuff, but, I mean, it's not America, so...
Yeah, speaking...
They can't do anywhere else, pretty much.
Speaking of freedom of speech, so it's this dude in England named Tommy Robinson, who is this, I guess, the right-wing version. So I think in England, they were a part of, like, the Europeans. They had all, like, one collective economy or some shit. I don't know. And the English niggas had left and went. And I think their economy is, like, solely only England. And I think what I heard is that, like, niggas over there are losing a lot of jobs. I do know that their whole economy went, like, bankrupt in 2011 or something. Like, they had their own housing crisis, and America had to literally bail out the whole country. We had to give them like 11 trill or some shit. Like this is real shit. And I think that they're like ever since Brexit, which has not been good for them, I heard, economically, and ever since like 2021 and these sanctions, I mean, not just saying these tariffs that Trump's putting on, they're like losing jobs and things are going really bad over there. But what I do know is that there's this rising, this is happening everywhere, but it's like this rising conservative movement in there. And Tommy Robinson is like the leader, the cultural leader of the conservative movement in England. And he held this protest, a free speech protest. So in England, Europe, I don't know how they get over there, but the Middle East, which is like Asia, and Europe and Asia is connected, and the Middle Easterners and Africans, they go to European countries like France. You can do the same thing here, but like you can come from like El Salvador and be like, oh, my country's terrible, I need asylum, and they'll have to let you in. That's actually what's happening throughout all of Biden presidency, and that happened like a lot, and that's what they say. They let all these people in because you got to let them in as a asylum thing, and I think you have to let people in. I don't think you have a choice, and it's like that in Europe as well. And the Africans and the Middle Easterns, they go to Europe and they say, I need asylum. And I think what happens in Europe, and it's different from America, is people like, oh, they put them up in hotels. But in Europe and England, like, they actually do put them in hotels, like, actually. And they put them in, like, 5-star hotels, and, like, they don't have to work and do shit like this. From what I heard, this is, like, actually happened in England. So apparently, like, the people there, they, like, move in, and they'll move into, like, apartment and move into, like, droves of neighborhoods. And allegedly, they were, like, doing things to the people there. They were like starting gangs and grooming people and molesting people and raping people and stuff. And the people there, the English people, are like not having it, and they're holding this protest because in England you have freedom of speech laws and hate speech laws. So in England, I don't know if no freedom of speech means you can't talk about politics. I don't know how it works like that, but I do know that specifically, you can't like be like, oh, that nigga's the F word. Oh, he's the N word. Or I hate XYZ group of people and they all should die. You know, you could say that in America. You could say, oh, I'm a Kanye West person, nigga HH. I think if you went to England and you start playing HH by Kanye West, I think you would get arrested and fined. In England, they don't show crime statistics based off of race like they do in America, like the FBI does. So in England, they were holding this protest.
Come here to the start of.
And it's a freedom of speech protest. And this happened within a week.
The Unite the Kingdom rally. This is looking like a really big protest already. We started in Blackfriars, went over the bridge, and there are lots and lots of people. We can see this is the back of the queue for the start of the march. Lots of flags. We've seen people in Crusader outfits carrying Christian crosses as well. This is a free speech rally. That's why it's being organised today. But it's also, according to its organiser, Tommy Robinson, the anti-Islam activist, talking about protecting British heritage and protecting British culture. Now, he's urged people to be peaceful. This should be a family day out. There is a heavy police presence too, but this is just the start of it. There's going to be a huge procession over into Whitehall where they've got screens set up. There'll be various speakers addressing it. There'll also be a counter-protester organised by Stand Up to Racism. Those two sides will be kept far away from each other. This is just
so
making their way.
How do you feel about these protests? Do you feel that do you feel that you know, if you are English and you don't want your country to be invaded by, you know, immigrants and third worlders, that you are racist? Or what's the other option? I don't know. Or that, you know, because it works the same way in America, you know, and I'm trying not to think like Americanly and use American bias, but this is kind of like in America as well, because in America, we're having our thing where it's like Donald Trump is literally deporting, or he's saying like, oh, I'm going to deport millions of immigrants. So I wonder if they are somewhat influenced by, I think they have to be, because it's similar, but do you feel like, not tied to American politics, just looking at it by, do you feel like England as an island is a place where, one, you know, if you want to seek asylum, you should be allowed to go there, 1, 2, or do you feel like it's a place where the English people who are there should feel like it should be English and not be invaded by migrants, non-biasedly?
I think it should be English. I don't feel it should be strictly English. I feel like I understand some people seeking asylum, but I don't think any country should just have to take anybody just because they going through in their own country. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I'm saying it should be a cap. I'm sorry, it should be, you know, it should be, and it should be a waiting list for, you know, priority should be higher on the list of different things, which suck for some people. But like, if you like in a domestic violence, you know, or if you were trafficked, or if you, not even just because you a woman with kids, or a single parent with kids, I don't think that should just allow you to come in because you know, you trying to seek asylum because where you from is effed up. I feel like it should be rules to it, and people, no matter what country it is, you just can't take everybody, because then you depleting resources that are from the people who's there. Like, there's nothing wrong with helping people, but when it's altering the life of the people who are originally there with the crimes and the gangs and all of that, nah, please, no, you no.
Yeah. So this is a picture of this dude. He's in England. He's saying he's walking through some English place. As you see, is a bunch of immigrants. So basically, you know, me, when I look at this, you know, let me think of this. You know, if I try to look at this without looking from the American's perspective, you know, I feel like from the American perspective, I feel like it's a good reason to have immigrants in America, mostly, especially illegal immigrants, because they really do occupy a specific, you know, they do things that, you know, some people say that should be done by Americans, but in reality, they don't actually want to be done by Americans, because Americans want to do, you know, different type of stuff. But you know what I'm saying. So I actually do agree from an American standpoint. My opinion would be different about this because I feel a different way about our migrants because the position that they occupy in America is different from here. So in England, though, looking at this from an English perspective, and if I try to use look at this not biasly, logically speaking, I feel like in England and most of these European countries, if somebody could come to your place and they gain asylum and they get put up in these hotels in these specific communities, and then they all like come flooding in, and it becomes like sort of like a ghetto of these specific type of people, mostly from like African or Muslim-ish countries. And I don't know if I don't think, me personally, I don't think that these European countries should be forced to accept all of these people into their countries because I don't know if they provide the value to England, that I don't even know. I mean, I think they do, right? I mean, I don't know if they're bringing I don't know what English culture is. I don't know what those words mean, but I feel like the English people there, England is like a white country. I feel like these people, want it to be white and English, not like, me, like if I'm going somewhere and it's like, oh, this is, Chinatown, it's like Chinese flags. Or if I'm going somewhere and it's like, oh, this is where the Mexicans
right,
is
right,
Mexican.
right, right,
Going somewhere, it's where the blacks at. Right. But it's like, if I was English, right, and like, me, Chinese people have been in America since 1865, the railroad, shit like that. Black people been here, Mexicans been here forever. But to an English person who's been English in England has looked a certain way just for randomly just to wake up and all these people be here and they have like, I forgot about the rights because you can't say anything. So for these people and you literally not be allowed to speak negatively, like you can't negatively express an opinion about not wanting these people in your country because you would be called like inherently racist, right? And in England, if you get called like racist or something, I think you could be like fined or like that's like actually not a thing that you can be in, like stuff like that. So I think from the European perspective, as a black person trying to look at this unbiasedly and not from like, oh well, XYZ country, because in Japan and China and Asia, they're not accepting a bunch of Middle Easterners or Africans into their country at all if they're under asylum. You're not about to go to Japan or Korea or China or Vietnam or any of it. You're not going over there talking about some asylum. That's just not how it works, And I feel like if Asian countries can be allowed to preserve their own whatever, and I feel like European countries should be the same, unbiasedly, unbiasedly. It just makes sense to me, So me personally, I side with the freedom of speech people and the English people, and
they're standing on business.
Yeah. So me. That's what I'd say about that. You got anything else to say? So France has deployed the jets. All right, so there's a new prime minister in France, and they just kicked out the old one, and the French are really upset about that. So how do you feel about French people attacking their own government as usual?
Yeah, it's nothing new.
I think France. I think they were protesting like last year. I don't know what they're doing over there. I think France is also like doing bad. I think I've heard from some people that like if you go to Paris, it's like actually terrible or something. That's what I heard. Like it's like a lot of homeless people and it smells bad or some shit like that. But yeah, I mean France. I don't know what they're doing over there. I mean, I don't want to, hate on France. I feel like I've been hating on France for like the past 3 episodes because it's always something like that's not looking good for them. So I'm just gonna let them slide this time. But
nearly 200,000 people took part in a nationwide anti-government protest after France installed a new prime minister. Police used water cannon, tear gas against the Block Everything demonstrators. More than 300 were arrested.
Well, as you can hear, people are getting arrested in France. So Nepal, which is a Southeast Asian country, they had a full-blown revolution of the government. So apparently there are 2 parties in the government and they collected into one super party. And apparently Nepal is extremely corrupt, which, sorry to hear that, Nepal. And they weren't having that shit. So apparently they went over there and they took out, they took out the gov and they re-elected a new man via Discord. So
I'll find new
the Gen Z,
with the appointment of a temporary leader, an extraordinary week of violence. The death toll now stands at over 70 after anti-corruption protests led to police clashes and a host of buildings in the capital being set aflame. An interim prime minister is in place today asking for people to come together. New elections are expected to be held in March, but key issues like unemployment and inflation that drove the protests remain unaddressed. Earlier, I spoke with Alex Travelli, a South Asia business correspondent for the New York Times. He's in Kathmandu, and I asked him to describe the situation there today.
The capital of Nepal, Kathmandu, is actually rather quiet now, and it looks normal in a lot of respects. There's still a large military presence on the streets, but they're not blocking traffic. There are a lot of burned out buildings. So if you're looking at the old halls of power, it's like a disaster swept through town. In fact, a few of them are still even on fire. But I would have to say that traffic, business, civilian life is carrying on almost as if it were an ordinary time in Nepal, which it very much is not.
This is a historic time, and it seems like the protests evolved in part because of the bans of some social media platforms, but there also seem to be a lot more deeper issues there. Can you help us understand how this all evolved?
Yeah, it's becoming clearer and clearer, Lisa, that the social media ban, which was the proximate cause or the trigger for the protests, it was a small part of a great big angry whole. It was Monday of this past week that the mostly young people took to the streets in great numbers. And you could see already on the banners and placards they were carrying, it's much more about entrenched problems that Nepal faces, political problems, corruption, a culture of impunity, and there was a vast amount of anger. And then that all changed on Monday itself when armed police started firing into the crowds. Very quickly, a lot of young people died by police bullets, and then there's an entirely new cause for outrage.
What has day-to-day life been like for the young people, especially those leading this protest?
So life in Nepal is very tough for young people, and often these are young people who've invested a lot of time and a lot of their family savings in education. One of the surest signs of this economic crisis is the number of young Nepalis who have to leave the country in order to find employment. This is often for menial jobs in the Gulf or in Malaysia. It's not that these are young people who necessarily want to leave Nepal, but almost 2,000 do leave every day. There's, by some estimate, half of the country's families depend on income being sent by Nepalis working abroad. This is a desperate situation, and it's not one that young people want to put up with forever.
Can you tell us about the new interim prime minister and why it was that young people in particular wanted her in the job?
Yeah, it's very hard to get a grasp on really what the young people want, mainly because we don't really know who they are. It's a leaderless movement, or that's how it began. And we do know that members of that leadership, however they were chosen, were talking to her. Her name is Sushila Karki, and she came out as the favored candidate. Now, she's a former Chief Justice of Nepal, in fact, the country's first female Chief Justice, and a jurist by training, so interested in constitutional matters, not especially beholden to any of the big political parties, and a satisfying choice, if there had to be one, for a caretaker prime minister.
Can you help us understand Nepal's role in the region and whether these protests have any wider influence as well? It's a small country, but where does it sit in terms of its importance?
It may be too soon to tell, but Nepal sits between China and India, the biggest countries in the world. The United States, of course, takes a keen interest also in Nepali affairs. In recent years, as China's political and economic power have grown, it's become a more important rival with India for influencing the region. Each of these giant countries has its favorite political parties within the old political order of Nepal. Now that political order as a whole seems to have collapsed, it looks suddenly like a clear board in which these 2-3 big countries are going to start competing again.
What comes next? We expect elections in 6 months. Do you think that is the way out of this crisis?
What's clear is that it's going to be a very difficult path forward. There's no period of time in which you could say, we know how Nepal is going to replace its established political parties, or the parties themselves perhaps will stick around, but they'll figure out a way to replace their tarnished leadership. Perhaps Gen Z, as they call themselves, the student protesters, will find a party to throw into the fray themselves. But 6 months is a very short amount of time for anything like that. The country's really going to need parties that can attract popular support. And that's something that is very hard to see from this week.
Alex Travelli, we know you'll keep watching it, and we appreciate that. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So basically, they had banned social media probably to get rid of free speech after they had collided into one super party, and they shot some YN protesters, and they weren't having that, and they cooled the government. And I think they went to the capital, and the main guy, I don't know who, the leader of Nepal, he flew out, so he's gone. So yeah, they took over. So how do you feel about that?
I think that's wild that still happened in 2025.
It happens in less developed countries. Less developed countries are basically countries from hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, but it's just still so unbelievable that it's countries out there like that. It's so sad. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't really know what to say because, I mean, I'm from America, so for them to ban social media and stuff like that with the world that we live in, and with them saying that it's small and all type of stuff, I think it's messed up that, people 2,000 a day, that's I don't know. it's crazy. But
It is.
if I was her, you know, I don't know how comfortable I'd be in that spot like that, you know, unless you just standing on.
No,
you know,
she's
knowing.
anti-corruption. That's why they voted her. She's like openly anti-corruption. But I think she'll be straight if she play her cards right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's, you know, governments are supposed to be cool if, you know, the people don't want them. You know, this is America.
But like that though, you know, like it's just wild. You could just strong arm somebody. You know what I'm saying? Not like how long they been. How many times they tried to impeach Donald Trump, and my boy like he ain't going nowhere.
He tried to coup the government on January 6th, but you know, what they did, that's what those J6 niggas could have done if Donald Trump went his ass down there on January 6th. That's what he would have done to Mike Pence and those niggas. But you know, this is actually what we used to do during the 80s, back when those Russian niggas were trying to spread communism throughout the world. Luckily for us, I mean the whole world, especially Asia, America single-handedly ended communism around the world, and now nobody's really like fighting for, you know, oh, we're gonna turn our country into some communist dictatorship. And when they're saying that Americans are pressing in there, we used to do, when we seen these niggas going to war, we'll pick a side and we'll send our niggas up in there and we'll back those niggas. That's what we need to start doing. We need to go down there in Nepal and we need to, get in with the new government before those other niggas, China, India, said, like they said. Which I think India, I don't know if they're on our team or if they're not on our team. I don't know how that works. I think we're like cool, but they're not 100%. I don't think they're a part of NATO, right? I don't think so. But after they took over the government, this is what they were doing.
Congratulations, but you know they watch that shit. I ain't even gonna get mad. I'm young, black and rich. She tryna sell me lies, bitch. I ain't buying shit. If we ain't talking money, then I'ma plead the fifth. I put ice in my mouth. Yeah, don't say congratulations.
So how do you feel about them
Hilarious.
doing that? You think that's based?
You ain't taking their social media away.
Oh God, it's so funny. It's so funny, man. They were not having that, but yo, it's crazy. Like,
Congratulations, but you know they watch that shit. I ain't even gonna get mad. I'm young, black and rich. She tryna sell me lies, bitch. I ain't buying shit. If we ain't talking money, then I'ma plead the fifth. I put ice in my.
I think that's the capital, but yeah. Okay, so over the, I don't know when this was. So apparently in North Carolina, there was this Ukrainian refugee girl, and you know, despite the millions of people or thousands of people dying in Ukraine, that certain people don't care about, this was a big situation. So she had got brutally unalived by some Negro on some train somewhere, and a certain demographic of people are like really like this is like the white Trayvon Martin, I guess, you know, the white, not white George Floyd. We're going to get to white George Floyd, but who came before George Floyd, like who they were super crazy. I think this is, I guess you could say this is the white Trayvon Martin, I guess. I don't know how to say her name though. Well, I guess she's way more innocent than Trayvon Martin. I guess the white, who was, I don't know, but you know. Do you want to watch the video? You know, he hits her, this is YouTube though. They're not gonna show it, you know, but you know, they fast forward. They show her the after effects of, you know, her reaction to it. No, I guess.
So he just hit her in the neck with the needle, or
he hit her in the neck. She sits here. She's like, he does. And you know, she gets all sad, and then she dies. You know, she's dead.
She died for real?
Yeah, she's dead, like in real life, like she's gone. Like,
so he just out of nowhere hit her in the neck.
Yeah, he stood up, he took her out the game, and yeah, she's dead. But
just a complete stranger. Like, yes, I saw a balled
what
up.
You just seen? Yes,
I saw a balled up person, and they didn't. But like, okay, well, if that was it, and he just dipped off the train, what did they expect people to do? That happened so fast. It's not like it was a build up or an argument or something like that. The comments that people were saying, because I just saw the still shot. It was no video clip to it or whatever. But that happened so quick. Everybody in their phones, they in their own world. What, like,
Yeah, he just immediately got up and walked off. Do you feel like this is black fatigue, and that blacks have a problem with crime, and that if you're white, you should be worried about black people because they're dangerous and will take you out the game?
Nah, I feel like you should feel like that about everybody. Everybody, every race.
Do you agree that if you see or witness black people doing things in real life or on video, that you can take caution with all blacks because you know what you've seen empirically? Or do you believe that each person is their own individual and you shouldn't be prejudiced at all?
Each person is their own individual, but I don't look at skin color when I say, I'm not like clenched like this around black people and then white people.
But do you think that white people should be prejudiced against black people because of what they see on social media and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different. Take that up about yourself. Prejudice, I don't know, but cautious, you know, be cautious of the situations. I don't know. I can't speak from, you know.
You know, Destiny. He's very, you know, he's white, so he sees all this and all these, his response to this was something very interesting. He said like, what about he basically was talking, what about all these white people did this, stuff like that. I feel like if you're like, oh, like we should be allowed to talk about black on black crime and stuff like that, you know, I don't mean to be, you know, because they always say this, but you know, niggas really do be, you know, shooting up schools. Like, I think like, I don't know if the day or within this happening, within a week, like there was definitely a school that got shot up, like real shit. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like niggas be like, oh, you know, black people be committing crimes, but you know, certain people, they be going and shooting up schools and taking out other stuff, and also certain people be. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But you know, I feel like if you're white and you're like cautious around black people for what you see on social media, you can do that if you want. I don't believe it's justified, but you know, I feel like if you're a white person that says, you know, we should be allowed to talk about black on black crime or black fatigue or whatever, you know, I feel like you should also think about white on white violence, because if you are, or 90% of, you know, the people who black people kill are black, and half of all the people who die to firearms every year are black, you know, and then they say, you know, black people are responsible for half the death, but of that half of murders or whatever, 90% of them are black, you know. So if you're black, you should be more worried about a black person than if you're white and you're worried about black. You should be worried about a black person because you're black and you're more likely to, like, this same thing that this guy was actually on some like, oh, I got the white girl side. So he's different, but like there are niggas who are crazy who will take out other niggas, who would take out a black woman, who would take out a Mexican woman, Asian woman, who would take out another black man. I just seen videos on the internet of niggas attacking each other. You know, if you're somebody who, you know, sees a certain thing on social media and you allow that to corrupt, you know, your entire view of people, not based on what you see online, but just what you see, maybe what you seen IRL, but just what you see on social media, like, I mean, you're cooked, bro. You need to touch grass. And I think, you know, if you're white, as we can see from, I don't want to get into it because we're going to get into it later, but you know, if you're white, one of your people is more likely to take you out the game, and not only on some like, oh, you know, we're fighting, but on some, you know, I'm about to go to church or to the mall or to a Charlie Kirk event or whatever, you know, wherever you are, you know, one of your own people could take you out because they are mentally ill or, you know, on some other stuff. This is real stuff, you know. White people do be taking out other white people in mass events of terror. You know, this is really stuff that happens, you know. So, and that gets us to something that we talk about in the future, you know, which is, you know, we're going to talk about later, but, you know, a certain person was really upset about the situation. And while he was talking about similar situations about trans people shooting up schools, he got caught in a situation.
Too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. Really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train.
And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help.
All right, so do you have anything to say?
Crime-free city.
That's what you gotta say?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, the whole right-wing ecosystem is really operating. It operates as like one, maybe like this, you know, top down. You know, the bottom are like the people who parrot the talking points. You know, it could be a normal, you know, red hat person or like Tucker Carlson. They all say the same thing basically, and it goes top down. So Trump, he tells these niggas what to think, and he said something that I kept hearing. So he said, you know, violent repeat offenders, and this is a big thing that, you know, they've been pushing. So people on Fox News in Republican, I don't even know, because I'll just say the ecosystem, the speakers of the language, they've been talking about this new thing. I don't know if they're talking about killing them. I don't know if they specifically mentioned killing them, but they're talking about, if not killing them, removing them from at least the country, I think. But they're talking about doing this thing where basically if you have committed a crime, like if you're a repeat offender of a crime, that you automatically like get taken out the game. This is the thing that I heard them suggesting. This video was 9th, so it's the 17th. So yeah, I 100% heard this. So basically, hold on, wait. So my question is, do you think they're going to implement, like how they were talking about taking out homeless people? Do you think they're going to implement something where if you have been, because I think they're going to use this, because they take certain stories and they boost them up to make them seem like they're like the biggest thing in the world. I think they're taking this to use this as another reason to go into cities, like he said, Chicago. This was before he was really going into Chicago, but I think this was before he made the thing about Memphis. So I think they're using this or videos like this as a reason to go into Democrat cities. But do you think that there's a chance that they're going to enact something where if you are like a repeat offender or repeat, what do you call somebody who's been committed crimes a lot and it's like on the court, like they can tell how much crimes you repeat, they can see it.
I don't know.
If you are a repeat crime offender and they can see it on the court, that they will take you out the game or remove you from society soon. Do you think that this is going to happen, like within the next couple, or within Trump too, that they're going to be taking people out who have repeated crimes repeatedly?
No.
You don't think so?
Not in Trump's time.
You know they're going to like at least just send them to jail permanently, like, or do some like new shit, like send them to Alcatraz or some shit like that. Like, you don't think they're going to deport them at least? Like,
no deporting. It's going to be the same thing, just jail. That's it.
Oh my God. Did you see that nigga hold up that picture? Did you see how serious he was looking?
Yeah, I did. What more can you do besides put him in jail?
Send him to another country. Send those niggas over there when he's sending the immigrants at.
I mean, that would be nice, but I doubt if it happened.
Oh.
I don't see that.
Man, you are living in... Where are you living at, man? This is 2025.
I told you I haven't tapped in. It's been 2 years.
These niggas
like, for
will
real.
do this.
Biden last 2 years, I tapped out. Now, I used to watch, this stuff
this will
with
happen,
popcorn and stuff like that. But no, I haven't. I don't know what's going on. I'm in my own world. Now, I will start back, because I love politics, tapping in. But I still just don't see it.
All right, so the animal who so violently killed the beautiful young lady from Ukraine who came to America searching for peace and safety should be given a quick, there is no doubt, trial and only awarded the death penalty, there can be no other option. President Donald Trump. But, so, how do you feel about this?
I get that, but like I'm saying, okay, jail, okay, the death penalty. You know how long people die before they even get killed on death row. You know, like
I think legally speaking, I think Donald Trump, because I think we live like under unilateral like executive powers. Like Destiny say we don't. But I think you know, he said that if he were to shoot somebody, that all his supporters were supporting him. That's what he literally said, was actually based and actually true. But I think if he were to take this nigga out the game, he like, bro, let me take that nigga out the game. I think he legally would be allowed to do that. I think he can like legally take niggas out the game like without any repercussions, according to the Supreme Court. So I think he can do that if he wanted to. You know?
But it doesn't happen though. I feel like people shouldn't be on death row for more than 2 years.
Yeah. You got anything else about it? All right, so let me play the clip. So they're playing Charlie. They're listening to what's it called? They're listening to that Ignition remix to Ignition by what's his name? R. Kelly. So as you can see, this is the OG Turning Point USA back in like 2016. You know, as you can see. You know, that is Charlie Kirk, who you did not know, so let me explain to you. Charlie Kirk is the single, you know, I don't mean to glaze this nigga as, you know, he died, because some niggas glaze him. You said what?
Ain't that Candace?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would say he is the, let me think. You know, because when niggas die, certain niggas glaze them. It's like, bro, are you glazing them? Because he did. So if he was alive, let me think if I was still saying it right. I'll say top 5. He's the top 5 most influential people in getting Trump elected and Trump won. I would say maybe who's the dude who controlled Breitbart? What's his name? Let me see. No, he wasn't important. Not Breitbart. The Blaze, I mean. The Blaze. Glenn Beck. Right. Okay, so Glenn Beck, I would say, is the most important person or media figure who was responsible for Trump won, because he was the first established right-wing commentator to hop on the Trump, you know, train. But I would say going into Trump won, I would say Charlie Kirk was definitely top 5, you know, most influential with Turning Point USA, which was, you know, this dude named Milo Yiannopoulos back in 2014. He did this thing where he would debate college feminists. And then Ben Shapiro stole that idea, and he would go to college campuses and get all these protests. And then this dude, Steven Crowder, he did this thing where he did this change my mind thing. And then Charlie Kirk, he combined all 3 of those things into one thing, and he called it Turning Point USA. And around 2016, I think, he did this thing where he would go around the college campuses and he would have this name Rob Smith, Candace Owens, him. Let me see. Oh, wait. I don't know. The original Turning Point USA. He was just him and a couple other people. I think Nick Fuentes was working with Turning Point USA too. And basically, they would go to colleges and they would debate a bunch of college students. And that's actually how Candace Owens got on to right wing spaces. He put her on, and she left him and went to who did she go to? She left him, went to somewhere else, and then went to Daily Wire and then left him. She basically hip hopped from right wing to get to her own space. But you know, during Trump won, he was very influential in getting Trump elected. And then after Trump, or before Trump 2, which is way more important than Trump 1, because after Trump 1 it was like a run, you know, and then after Trump 1 we thought we was done. But him and all the other people, they stayed down after Trump 1. And going into Trump 2, in the beginning, he was one of the main talking heads for Trump 2, and he was one of the main figures and responsible. You know, I don't want to say. I'll say he's top 2 most influential figures behind Trump 2, especially in the young, you know, dudes movement. You know, going to college campuses, because he really went to thousands of college campuses around the world, set up his own Turning Point USA chapters. That was basically like, I guess you could say, like right-wing chapters in colleges. So he was basically trying to take back colleges, and that's why the dude took him out. He said he took him out because he knew that he would be effective, and he was very effective. And going into Trump 2, or before Trump too. I think that's when he started to get personally connected with Trump going into Trump too, and that's when he started, corresponding with him. I don't know if they talked daily, but I know that I think Charlie Kirk might be the only, I think he's the only right-wing commentator that I ever heard publicly say that he has direct line to Trump and talk to him. I don't think Ben Shapiro talked to Trump or Tucker Carlson. Trump doesn't talk to him. He's the only person Trump talked to was Charlie Kirk. So he was directly connected to the administration via directly speaking to Trump and giving him ideas. He was actually, I would say, me personally, I would say that he was friends with Trump. But on when was this? The 10th? The 10th of September, Charlie Kirk had posted something on his YouTube. He was talking about a girl who got taken out the game. He had posted on his Twitter, but they took the video down after he got taken out the game. So Charlie Kirk was actually debating somebody, and something not good happened.
I was in the middle of debating Charlie Kirk in the middle of the assassination at Utah Valley University.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I mostly came in there because Charlie's very open about having some sort of dialogue or some sort of conversation that he believes in engaging, and I'm pretty on the record of how much I disagree with him, but I do definitely respect how much he's willing to platform voices to ensure that at least some semblance of a good conversation can come out of it.
How was the energy whenever you arrived to the event?
Very conservative, for sure. Everyone was very energetic, chanting Trump, chanting USA.
Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
There was a line of liberals on the rooftop who were holding pride flags and I think some Palestine flags and things like that. And there was a little bit of taunting back and forth, but not very out of hand. Most of the debaters were either asking questions like who's better, LeBron or Jordan, or some theological debates about distinctions between Mormonism and Christians.
Charlie Kirk was taken out the game, and the last words he said ever in life were gang violence, which is interesting. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? Charlie Kirk has spent so much of his life, especially over the recent years. I'm not going to do it, but I'm not going to say he was the most pro-African-American person that, I've witnessed, but he's not the most anti-African-American person. He's not he's past Ben Shapiro, I would say, but he's not like Nick Fuentes. But yeah, how do you feel about Charlie Kirk being taken out the game by one of his own people? How do you feel about that? Via attack of terrorism.
Okay. So when you said one of his own people,
I'm only saying that because he was really big on the Ukraine girl. We need to watch out for blacks. We can't sit in the subway station, etc. And his last words were, when they were talking about mass shootings, are we counting gang violence? AKA, what about the niggas? So how do you feel about him being taken out by his own people? How do you feel about
interesting, because when you said his own people, automatically I thought a conservative. It took me a minute to get. It took me a second to get. I get what you're saying now, but I'm just saying I was gonna say that ain't. But yeah, I don't know him. I had never heard of him before. But it happens. Mass shootings and stuff like it.
That really does not happen. I don't know about that one, but niggas get taken out the game. But political commentators, I never in my lifetime, I don't know. I never heard of that person.
Before. I'm looking at somebody getting shot in a large crowd. You know what I'm saying? People taking out. That's what I'm. That's what I'm saying. It happens. Things like that happens.
Yeah.
But I feel sorry for his wife and his kids. I can't speak much about it because I don't know him. I never heard of him. I do consider myself conservative, but I don't. And just his last sentence was damn, damn, because 100% you get where he was going, and it's oof.
Yeah. He was extremely influential in conservative media. I'll say he's the number one. I hate that. I don't want to do this because he died, but he literally, like, I think the day after the Trump Epstein shit, he was like, "Okay, guys, we need to let go of this Epstein shit." Like, he was literally like, he
wrap it up. Enough of that. Let's move on.
When Trump said, like, if you still believe this, like, you're not a real Trump supporter, he literally defended that. He said, yeah, like, you're not a real Trump. So he was big in the Trump thing. So me, some people who are more into conservative ideology or know what conservatives think will perceive this statement different, but people who are not will perceive this only like one way. So here we go.
I have a question. Okay, what's your question? Why did you say that the civil rights bill should be overturned?
I didn't say that. I said it was a mistake.
Why? That's crazy.
Now you gotta figure it out.
I wouldn't be here. That's trouble.
Who's that?
If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened?
A certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. Oh, wow, look how far blacks have come. It has now become a racial complaining day. Remember what BLM stands for: burn, loot, and murder.
Yeah, DEI stands for
one of the biggest.
Didn't earn it, just so we're clear.
Can we also acknowledge, due to the laws under Jim Crow, that black people were significantly hindered from economic advancement?
This is a really important question. The data shows not really. Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s. The disappearance of the black father has been the #1 driver of black poverty in this country. At least agree that black dads not being around is a bad thing.
Anyone's father not being around is a bad thing. Starting in the 1980s and continuing onward, there's been a war on drugs. Is this correct?
I like the war on drugs. Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. That's not a war on drugs, that's a culture problem. Why are so many blacks committing murders outside of their population? So we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities, $20 trillion, and black Americans are poor. Food stamps, subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that has been spent on the Great Society, and yet black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous.
Part of
What does equity mean?
is
you mean taking
allowed-
from other people?
Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black
Okay, so posthumously, certain people have begun to extremely glaze him, but then while glazing him, they don't want you to bring up certain stuff that he said. Yeah, it's very weird. So how do you feel about what he said? 1, and 2, how do you feel about people posthumously mentioning the things he said, such as those clips that you see?
So I feel like I get what he's saying. I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, you can get what he's saying if you understand how conservatives think, because that's what they say, right? What he's saying, you know what I'm saying? That's what. Don't you agree with that? Because you come from the.
I get what he's saying, and I understand where he's coming from, and I agree with some of the things that he's saying, because some of the stuff that he's saying is true. My problem with people like that is when they only focus on one race, you know what I'm saying? Or that's just like we talk about LeBron James fans can't, talk about LeBron without bringing up or bringing down Jordan while they doing it. If you're talking about a topic and you can only bring up one race and just pull them down, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Yeah, in the 40s, yeah, black people were doing better. I get it because we stuck together, and I understand where you're coming from, and some of that is true. Technically, the things that he's saying, but when you are using that as a point to like down a certain race and that's all that you own, you're not talking about other races or your race or anything like that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah. Hold on, wait.
I see why he had a target on his back.
Oh, do you feel like that me, I've been in conservative spaces, I know how conservatives think, unironically, like literally, I know how to think about everything. I know the mind of a conservative. I can read it. So I literally understood everything that he was saying because I know Charlie Kirk, right? But do you feel like somebody who is black or somebody who is a white liberal and don't know any concern and only ever been a liberal, only know the liberal space, do you feel like it's justified in them for... Actually, wait. Do you feel like certain people shouldn't be celebrating his demise because even if he said things that you disagree with, because he's still a human at the end of the day? Or do you feel like XYZ person is racist, therefore, you know, fuck him and I'm glad he did or whatever?
I feel like everybody's their own individual. You know what I'm saying?
But what would you recommend for people? What would you say? Like if somebody was your friend and they were, you know, how would you feel if they were making fun of Charlie Kirk after watching this video?
I hate to say that I wouldn't really care about him. You know what I'm saying? But my thing would be respect the people that he left behind. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's somebody's husband. Somebody just lost their husband. Somebody just lost their father. They got to grow up without it. Oh, this is going to put them in the same way. Now they know how black people are being raised without a father. You know what I'm saying? Like, respect that, if nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about, no disrespect to the dead, but I don't care about you talking about him or it's good that happened. I don't care about that. Besides that, respect the people who, you know, now if he didn't have a wife or a kid, then it's like, hey, you know, yeah, I wouldn't want to see a mother hear the world talk like that about her child. But a mother and a wife, you know what I'm saying, till death do us part, to children, like, I would want people to respect that because they're going to see, I don't know how his kids are, they're going to see this. Yeah, they're going to see the dad too and different things. It's like, but right now, people, that don't have nothing to do with them. And I don't like, you know, how people are making memes and doing all type of stuff. It's not about respecting him. It's about respecting the people who he left behind, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The radicals.
So I think the day after, I think Trump went on Fox News.
On the right, oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy. Although they want men and women sports, they want transgender for everyone, they want open borders.
So, how do you feel about that out of context clip of Trump saying, you know, it's people on the left? I seen the whole interview though. How do you feel about him? I can tell you what he meant by it. He said, they asked him that he should condemn the violence or tell everybody to chill out, and his response, well, I know this is going to get me in trouble, but I don't care. Really, it's the radicals on the left. They are the ones who are crazy, except you already said. Yeah. So do you feel like he should, instead of saying it's the radicals on the left, he should tell everybody to calm down, or just say that it's
no, because what, they gonna listen now? Because he say calm down. I mean, some people might, but
no, he should tell his own side to calm down, because his side is actually psychotic. How do you feel about that?
Oh, yeah, I don't
know. You don't think he should tell him to chill out?
No, I don't.
Even though they have, well, this dude.
Because maybe we seeing different, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know this man. I don't know nothing about him. But what you just saw, what I see the other side making fun of this man getting shot. If the other side, if the right side is doing something, I don't know about it.
Yeah, but they took out, you know, a Minnesota,
I don't know anything. I haven't
politician
watched the news.
like 6 months ago.
I haven't.
And I think the same day that this happened, there was a school shooting. I mean, there was a school shooting. Literally the exact same day that Charlie Kirk got taken out, and nobody talked about that. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I did hear something about that.
Yeah, how do you feel about that he got taken out or it was a school shooting and nobody talked about it?
I mean, I'm not supposed to be disrespectful, but it's like school shooters are, you know, that ain't, it's more normal now. So, like,
oh, okay. I don't know about that one, but yeah, let's watch this video. My question is this the new Jackson 5, or has this eclipsed the Jackson 5? So.
Look, hey, it's player, hey,
I saw you bouncing out wood, no hesitation. If we see that nigga running, they ain't know we finna chase him. All these blunts that I roll, bitch, you know I really face him. All this shit I've been through, can't nobody fucking change me. Shit, I'm just a sign nigga. Why you calling me your baby? Why you calling me your baby? You wiping shit up, shit, I had that bitch naked. We steady buzzing plays, I ain't never riding naked. I see your gold chain, I'm for surely gon' take it. I'm for surely gon' take it. All them cold nights, I tell my mama we gon' make it. I really steady see them hating. Eddie jump with her homies, we sit back the same day. We bounce out the Hellcat. We just when I saw you play, we set him up with the hunger the same day. Tryna run away, I'm really younger, but I'ma put you up on game. I'm in school to hop on the 211.
Hey, to get up on the 211. You can really ask about me, give my money a lot. You come with my city where it really get hot. Bro's really in that whip, dodging all the cops. What happens when my bro not starting to play ball? I was really in my city, I was standing tall.
Yeah, nigga, it's ghetto and I play ball. Every time when I play, I stand tall. Why that bitch on my phone, I'ma make that call. I'm outside with my niggas, how we really ball. I got the stars on the light, niggas, it's RT. Whether bitch want a foot was sucking on my meat.
Auto-tune is way more than just...
How do you feel about that Extremely Fire?
First of all, disrespectful for comparing them to the Jackson 5. It's just a regular...
No, I said, are they the new Jackson 5?
No, yeah, that's still... No, of course not. It's other rappers and groups that's way better than them lame-ass niggas. Now, you need to get rid of Hoodie because everybody else, like, I like the beat, I like their flow, I would have listened to it. I wouldn't have skipped it, but I wouldn't play it. But oh boy, with that rapping like he just did a line of cocaine, like I don't understand it. That's
bro, you need to accept.
I'm not going to because it's trash. I was into
fire.
it until he came. Like, what is this? What? We still on this?
All right, so you know they had dropped a new No Jumper Cypher. You heard the old one?
Yeah, I heard them talking about it, but I thought they were referring to the old one. The old one was lit. I really like that one.
Okay, so listen to the new one. It's way better. So my question is, who had the best verse? And I'm actually gonna show you who Lush is. So.
22 stir in this hoe and I got fentanyl for sale. Feed the streets and send my boy for baby bundles through the mail. Chopper bullets hit you, leave you crippled like Terrell. Stead told me when he hit it, it smelled like a tuna melt. Put a crouton on the blick, now it's a Caesar salad. All my ops got baby dicks like the Nirvana album. Broke boys steady sipping Greenland, they just copped the matcha. Tapped in with the Crips where we still finna eat at Red Lobster. Put a carrot in his booty, now he vegan. Are you a plumber and a snitch? Dear Lord, give me a reason. Knock the Mario coins out, anybody committing treason. I don't even believe in God, how could I not be a demon? I'm at home in old block, but I still brought a Glock. The little homie Muslim buddy finna pork a thought. I'm at the taco truck like how much does a torta cost? Put a red dot on his head like he Gorbachev.
Put a hole in his head, now he a cyclops. Man, these niggas ain't got enough money to be my ops. Get a nigga cap twisted like a soda pop. Chop got that kickback, make my shoulder pop. Ralphie the P, but the P stand for plug talk. I just want them free bricks like I'm Goo-Wop. The Glock made his hip hop and knock his shoes off. Bitch, I got more records than a juice box. A nigga with a pop bishop and name me Tupac. Run around with my ball, but she'll shoot shots. It's going down in the trap, I think I'm Young Jock. Man, you niggas ain't getting no money, you niggas broke ops. The plug.
This pill so strong, I tried to take 4 extra. Carrots turn ops into bunnies like Hefner. I lie about my age, I'm sort of a loose cannon. I hit a lick during COVID, call me flu flammer. Keep a clip on my waist, I call that shit Labubu. Don't nobody watch your podcast like it's Hulu. Scam the McDonald's app, now I feel like Baby Tron. Sharp really love that torso, I don't judge or say it's wrong. Meth drip Lamar, but now I don't rock with ice. Bring Almighty back, our pot is sponsored by Swiss Army knife. I'm 6 drugs at one time, call me white brick, baby. Jabo just called, now I'm on a skid with Lil Brazy. BBL Uno, but I ain't fucking with your fake ass. Buzz balls a bitch shaped nuts off the blade pad. Pop Latina slide to get my paper and they all illegal. My shooter conceal a baby dick, no boss man D-Lo.
That was Lush 1 for the viewers who will come into play later.
Hefe, man. Cartier, diamonds, jeweler, did my shit cuss. Blue strip bands, 100 grand in his duffel. Broke niggas talking when they can, but we muffle. Ballin' is a sport and I'm standing like an athlete. Threesome with her friend, probably spin if it's that deep. Niggas see him hooping in a Porsche, wanna stack heat. Like I ain't put it down, heavy stepping on the back street. Another court red man down when they slack heat. These days niggas switch sides, let a rat eat. These days ain't no honor like a rap beat. And crime pay well in the gutter or the trap beat. Made a couple hundred off the rares with the black feet. Ever see an apple bit of fed, it's a track meet. Got a Hellcat peeling off like it's fat meat. Bought 2 lines, 1 Trish, but the act free. You will be a trophy in the city if you smack me.
How can I be transphobic when the stick has a dick? Unloaded quick, change clips, now the blick has tit. More hats than a lids. I'm giving Ox hair transplants the way I put 1,000 holes in his wig. Perfect grammar when I kill him, I don't slide, man, I slid. Never stopping dropping vids, man, I really take risks. We don't wanna join your gang and shake arse in your viz. I was living like a movie back when they were trying to sing. Try and talk street cred, but you might need a coach. Certain man got bread, but they're cooked like toast. Reddit stands trying to glaze like a Sunday roast. Man, shout out Young Spray, cause I'm realer than most. I really bridge that gap, but I get no thanks. We were calling out the cap, that's why they hate me and tanks. They gatekeep like bouncers, but they got no rank. When the demons pull up, tuck your rollie in your pants.
A1 since day one, fell I'm up in this bitch. I ain't never act weird, jump ships or switch for shit. I was 16 with a click, outside hitting licks, and I never go bad on my homies like a little bitch. Long live daddy up on 7th Street, he spark shit. Polo spinning off a perk, hit a bitch like a bar spin. Turned up, non-affiliate, don't fuck with politics. BMX back, but I promise I am not a trick. I been on some shit, really if they wanna talk. Fucking white hoes ain't the only time I bunny hop. All up in they motherfucking face like a money shot. And you know it's homeless K. All these bums get mollywopped.
Hey, no jumper cipher. I can't believe y'all making me do this shit. Free brick, baby. Look. Thought I had an op, but then he went PC. All up in his feelings, cause I call it like I see. Nigga, can't you tell that I've been planting seeds? While you was Twin Tower fade ducking TTFD. Don't you know 223 will leave your ass slim? Acting like you him gon' have him singing hymns. Right hand to the Bible. I'm a man with a rifle. Good luck on the trial. I'm about to see the Eiffel.
Okay, real joker, ain't never been no trick, baby. Gray Dane, gray rag, thuggin' bitches, big babies. No, always trip, baby. Without having me a slip, baby. White boy 22, yeah, that's my Slim Shady. And I'm 50 weight to now you try to eat. I don't do fish, baby. Spell chicken with 2 C's, you know that I'm a crib, baby. Even though highball, that shit you did was big hating. I'ma still say it loud. Free that nigga brick, baby. I hope that nigga beat the feds. Cause one thing that he won't beat is a nigga hands. When he meet the man, bullshit aside, free shit. And free Diddy. Just on some random shit. Niggas telling on the platform that's fake loyal. Unk 607 like niggas with baby oil. King Pill got pressed by the 3s and then he folded. And still I ain't been tested once, nigga, I've been goated. Throw out.
Hey, they say this shit about me, right? Till it's backwards. Alright, free the brick.
Bitch, I feel like Greedo, one of them niggas try to end him. Killers on my body, love the drama, I ain't tripping. Only had my pistols when them cholos try to end me. I was down bad, it wasn't funny, they was laughing. Went and got a bag, I don't hear him, what happened? All my ops is fags, they ain't rich and they ain't trapping. How your homie died, you ain't sly, you ain't chatting. All on no jumper, 1 hour straight ranting. Bitch, I'm from the bitty, if it's war, don't add me. Went and got rich and never told my hood business. I was 1 deep, 100 ops and still chunking. All them niggas rats, they the ops and they the witness. Killers on my body, I don't fear them, what's hitting it? This them niggas hood, dead homies, they gon' pot about it. Told them stupid niggas, we kill, never die about it. All my niggas killed, no bill, we ain't acting. Free my nigga Bubba, doing 30, he was tripping. Brody made it flip, no joke, it was jumping.
Somebody got shot. What you talking about with it? He keep them guns. So what you talking about with us? Mr. AK-47, what you talking about with us? You might as well sit on the stand and say you did it, huh? I be gone to November, another summer in the cell, but nigga ain't shit changed. What's the option? Fuck 12, stuck to a lie. Pray the judge not to fail until my bitch do her job. Send that ass to the mail. Send that cash to the cell. I know that pussy with the street, but I'ma sit back and beat me while she bleed me. Close the curtain on the Maybach. I'm off this fine scene. I might just stab me a nigga over some ice cream. Put the blinkers to his face like Spike Lee. Do the right thing. Okay, look, these niggas never in the field yelling about the fake kills. These niggas fire alarm, baby. I'm talking about fake drills. I might just take him out the game with some loud as some fake pills. We in the feds running phase like we get a safe seal. This logic body got me on one. Chopstick, look at my blues. I'm trying to post something. Tell loose, I need a fade and Brody don't want. Oh yeah, still fuck Agent Whack. 001, who wants some? Mr. Walk down, let me know some. Make the Johnny pull the chalk out, but I ain't got no jumper. Big O,
So what do you think about that?
I feel two ways about it. I like the song, the beat was, I like the rap, that was cool, but it's like, I'm not from the no jumper community. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like, that was going over my head, and it was irritating and hard to watch because that was going over my head. Now, if I didn't know that these was these type of niggas, I could listen to the song. But since I know that these is these type of niggas, one, I want to know, are y'all just rapping to rap, to say stuff? Because if so, oh, okay, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? But if not, I want to know, who are y'all talking about? Who you talking about? Like, now I would do a deep dive on every single person who rapped and see what beef or who they was referring to or who they was talking about. I want to know. I have questions. Now, if it was just like we spitting shit just because we rapping and it sound good, and then it's like, oh, okay. But if it's like meaning behind that, because it sounds like y'all talking to people, I want to know who it is. What made you, so.
Yeah, damn. I didn't know you was not tapped in.
Nah, but
nice.
I like the first two black guys. They had, you know what I'm saying? I like them. Lloyd Ross, or however you say his name, I liked his flow, but the words that he was saying was not better than the first two black guys. I don't know which one of those two were better.
Yeah, it's crazy that you said that because I thought the opposite. So Flacco, he had the best verse. He had the best verse on the last one too.
Which one is Flacco?
Him. He did his whole verse in one take.
All my ops is fags. They ain't rich or they ain't trapping.
I probably could explain every single bar, but only people who was dissing, he was dissing English niggas, He wasn't dissing nobody. He was dissing Suspect.
I'm like, who was 16 talking about? Like.
He was dissing Aaron the Plumber.
Oh.
And it's actually
Steady sipping Greenland, they just caught the matcha. Tapped in with the Chris where we still finna eat at Red Lobster.
Let me see.
Yeah, I seen the clips and stuff, but like some of the people
leave you crippled like Terrell. Stead told me when he hit it, it smelled like a tuna melt. Put a crouton on the blick, now it's a Caesar salad. All my ops got baby dicks like the Nirvana album. Broke boys, steady sipping Greenland, they just caught the matcha. Tapped in with the Chris where we still finna eat at Red Lobster. Put a carrot in his booty, now he vegan. How you a plumber and a snitch? Dear Lord, give me a reason. Not the Mario coins out anybody committing treason. I don't even believe in God, how could I not be a demon? I'm at home in old block, but I still brought a Glock. The little homie.
A plumber is supposed to be a snitch. For extra, supposedly put a carrot in some dude's booty.
Chris, where we still finna eat at Red Lobster. Put a carrot in his booty, now he vegan. How you a plumber and a snitch?
My ops. Him, I don't think you're talking about nobody. What's actually crazy, Flacco it's this dude named Rich Trapper. You know what I'm talking about?
I heard the name.
And he actually is a homosexual. So he was recording a video, and he was screen recording. What was he doing? I think he had one video was recording his screen. I forgot. Basically, he was on Grindr. You know what Grindr is? Mm-hmm. He was on Grindr, and it actually had a video, and his name is Rich Trapper.
They ain't rich or they ain't.
This is what Flacco said. He did his whole verse in one take.
Killers on my body, love the drama. I ain't tripping. Only had my pistols when them cholos try to end me.
So, like, no jumper. It was like 100 Mexicans they had pulled up outside of jumper for somebody had did something. I don't know. They didn't like it.
Down. Bitch, I feel like Greedo, one of them niggas try to end him. Killers on my body, love the drama, I ain't tripping. Only had my pistols when them cholos try to end me. I was down bad, it wasn't funny, they was laughing. Went and got a bag, I don't hear him. What happened? All my ops is fags, they ain't rich or they ain't trapping.
I can wait till it's.
You see, this is him. This is Rich Trapper. You see, this is him holding the phone. This is Grindr or something like that, apparently. And they showed it up in the thing, and he said, all my ops.
Went and got a bag, I don't hear him. What happened? All my ops is fags, they ain't rich or they ain't trapping. How your homie die? You ain't sly, you ain't chatting.
You get it? Mm-hmm. Oh God, it's so funny. But yeah, who you think had the best person? The black dude from the beginning, you said?
The first two black guys. I can't say which one was better out the two.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go to the next.
I like
thing.
what they were saying.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
All right, so post or within an hour or two of Charlie Kirk's death. This is what Lush had put on Instagram. So no headshot busted in her throat like Charlie Kirk. So how do you feel about that?
Is this disrespectful?
Do you feel like it's a fire bar, or Oh, you don't feel like that's a fire? That's not. Oh, okay. I disagree. I'm not gonna lie. Not even close. Okay, so within hours of Charlie Kirk getting shot, Donald Trump Jr., who has really, what has Donald Trump Jr. done? I don't know. I do know his name is Donald Trump, and luckily for him, he has been, I guess he has been LeBron James Jr. into politics. So this is what he's.
I can't name, including probably like Al Qaeda and the Taliban, a group that is more violent per capita than the radical trans movement.
Donald Trump Jr. has just claimed that the trans community is more dangerous than terrorist groups in the wake of Charlie Kirk's shooting. At the time of writing, the FBI has brought a 22-year-old named Tyler Robinson into custody. During a press conference on Thursday, the 11th of September, Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, Bo Mason, said the suspect appears to be of college age and blended in well with the university-age crowd at the event. There is currently no evidence that the alleged shooter is trans or has a connection to the trans community. Despite this, the president's son joined the Megyn Kelly show on September 11th to discuss Charlie Kirk's assassination, taking the opportunity to blame the left for his death and trans people for mass killings overall.
I'm sure there's plenty that we don't even know about.
Only 1% of the U.S. population identifies as trans, and according to the
Donald Trump Jr. and Nancy Mace have both, like, the day he died, came out and said that it was actually a trans person who shot him. And a lot of people, I think it was like a couple shootings, like maybe like 4 or 5 done by trans people. Most shootings are done by like right-wing people, like school shootings and stuff like that. But how do you feel about Donald Trump Jr. and other right-wing people obsession with trans people and saying that it was actually a trans person who shot that nigga?
That was wild that they pulled that out the sky like that and stuck to it,
Yeah. What's crazy as there actually is a trans connection, which is actually crazy. But anyways, it's been like a minute since Unc has been taken out the game, and we actually found the culprit. So this is my nigga right here.
You have been selected to receive the resident presidential.
This is my nigga right here, Tyler Robertson. So yeah, let's.
Congratulations! You have been selected to receive the resident presidential scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
So as you can see, things could have went literally any other way, but due to one's actions led to the outcome that he has found himself in at this current moment in time. Him, Luigi, I don't know. This is what they do.
September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at home homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who is a retired deputy sheriff. At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and convinced Robinson to turn himself in. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo.
So what do you think about that?
It's funny that he said he can't go to jail. Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
He should have took himself out the game. Yeah. He used to be a conservative / Trump supporter, just like whatever the name is, and just like the second guy who tried to shot or shoot Trump, the old man. Both of those niggas, all those niggas ex, and then joined the team. The bullets had things on them, so let's take a look at it. So the bullets, this is actually what they had. That's what the Utah, what's his name, chief of police had said this. Notice bulge. Ooh, what's this? Hey, fastest catch. Bellow child. What is this mean? You know what that means? Mm-hmm. If you read this, you are gay. LMAO. That one specifically for sure, I definitely know he wrote, because that's what the nigga has said. So apparently the news was out that at first it was his dad who had turned him in. So
no, that's not snitch.
How do you feel about this? Right.
I'm not breaking the law. I'm not trying to get out of no trouble. That's what a snitch do. A snitch is telling to wiggle out of something. I'm just telling. No reward.
That's Tyler Robinson's
no
dad.
Nothing. I just want to put a nigga ass in jail, nigga.
What do you think about that?
The internet is something else.
Okay, so Kash Patel is the director of the FBI, or head director of the FBI. I think that means he's in control of everything. I know the executive, they get to choose who's in charge of each thing. They don't actually control what goes in unless, your name is Donald Trump. Then Pam Bondi will do whatever you want her to do because, she's a glazer.
And for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here.
How do you feel about him saying he wished it wasn't somebody from Utah and the head director of the FBI looking over to that nigga like, what does that mean? How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that was racially motivated, or that was because Utah is apparently, I never heard of this, but apparently it's like a nice place with nice people or whatever. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel any ways about him saying that. What I do feel a way about is him showing emotions like that, looking like he about to cry and break down. I think it makes him look weak as a leader.
He's not really a real leader though. But
I don't know who he is.
So as was said by that one nigga, I don't know if that's true. He apparently was with some transgender person. So do you feel like the trans ideology or whatever is, cause of this, that
No.
trans people are to blame?
No.
Oh, hold up. Oh, so you know who Luigi is, right?
Yeah, Mario, homie.
No, he was this dude who like assassinated this United Healthcare worker like for no reason. He just took him out. He was just, he was living his life and he walked up to him, took him out the game. and I think he did it because I don't know, like because he was just in charge of healthcare. He assassinated him, but it doesn't matter. They took down the video. But what do you think about this?
My whole life is changed since you came in. I knew back then you were that special one. I'm so in love, so in love that you came into.
What do you think about people making these memes?
I think that's ignorant. I saw this, but I didn't know who the hell he was.
He was being
why somebody thought that this was funny to send it to me. I just saw this person thing. I thought it was AI or something. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But yeah, I think it's ignorant.
What do you think about this?
I like other nigga treats. Yeah, gonna wreck, yeah, correct. Slugger wreck, wounded wreck. Fuck that nigga Obama. He still mad by baby mama. Slime like shawty. Make sure you put down.
Think about that?
I don't think it's funny. I don't find it entertaining.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah. Hold on, wait. We're almost there.
Mr. Robinson, for count 1, aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty or pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, and that may be for life. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice, if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm.
You are witnessing here our ABC News Live.
So basically, that nigga's cooked. How do you feel about that?
All I heard him say was 25 years.
Oh, he said a lot more words besides 25 years.
And that's all I heard. I heard him saying other things he could charge him with. I didn't hear nothing behind him.
Oh yeah.
Life, 25. That could be considered
life was up in there. But posthumously, Charlie Kirk has become, Charlie Kirk was actually born the exact same day as George Floyd, and they both, went out via the neck. But and they were, born 20 years apart. But posthumously, Charlie Kirk has basically become the right-wing George Floyd, meaning he has been sanctified by the right and has been essentially made where he can do no wrong. He has done no wrong, and he was actually a perfect person and everything. So how do you feel about people on the right who made fun of George Floyd's death, said that he died of a fentanyl overdose, or that he what else? I don't know. Saying that Derek Chauvin should get acquitted and all this stuff. Charlie Kirk was one of the people saying that. And but then also getting extremely offended and crying like babies when people make jokes about George Floyd, even though these are the same people who make racist jokes and 1350 jokes and well jokes and all these other jokes about people and jokes about immigrants getting deported and all these jokes about other people. But when some people make jokes about their new saint Charlie Kirk getting murdered, they cry like babies. How do you feel about that?
People don't know how to hold the mirror up to themselves, you know. That's nothing surprising.
How do you feel about Glenn Beck and others saying that Charlie Kirk is a civil rights leader and how he was fighting for the civil right of freedom of speech and that he should be equal to, what's that nigga name? Martin Luther King, and that he's the new Martin Luther King.
That's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Hold the way. And that there should be streets named after and places named after Charlie Kirk. This is what Glenn Beck said. And some other right. This is what people on the right are suggesting too. Do you feel like that Charlie Kirk is a civil rights figure and that he stood up for freedom of speech and he died for freedom of speech and that we should look at him the same way we look at MLK for fighting for the rights of equality, that we should look at him as fighting for the rights of freedom of speech? Do you feel like that?
I don't know him.
Oh.
I don't know him. I don't know any.
No, but how do you feel about them saying that?
Hold on. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. And people who don't know Martin Luther King have heard the name before. They know a little something about him. You know what I'm saying? So to compare him to Martin Luther King, I think is streets named after him. Do that in the city that he was born in, I guess.
Do you or have you not been seeing people saying this on the right? Or?
No, I have not. I told you. I'm tapped completely out.
Oh yeah, this is a real thing. People are really comparing him to.
I'm sure.
And they also flew the flags halfway for Charlie Kirk. This is a real thing.
I can see that.
I can believe. But so my question, actually I should have picked him first, but I know. What do you think about this?
Legendary Scruncho. Word. This nigga's legendary? Based on what? What has he done? How long has he been in the game?
Well, I know he got
who the fuck knows who Scruncho is outside of the local ghetto community of comedy?
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I saw that before, but I didn't know what they was talking about.
You get it how it tied in like that?
I get it. It's not funny still, but you know, I get it.
So it's not funny. All of a sudden, this is not funny. And that's so funny. What do you think about? But what about? Okay, so you think if you are of a side of, politics? Oh, I forgot about that. They're actually talking about bringing hate. Actually, let me just. All right, so basically, people have been talking very negatively about Charlie Kirk's death, and a lot of people are really getting offended, but they were not offended making fun of other people's death who are black and who've been killed by police, etc., like George Floyd, etc. So we feel like if all these people who are making countless George Floyd jokes, that they should be mad when Charlie Kirk. What do you think about this picture? No? You get Tupac, Biggie, Suge, Charlie Kirk, Trump?
Yeah.
No? You don't miss down. But do you feel like it's okay to make jokes about these niggas if they was making jokes about other niggas?
I don't care either way. People are hypocrites. They gon', you know what I'm saying? So it's not surprising. It's not surprising. People are hypocrites.
What do you feel about this dude walking around with a Charlie Kirk book bag? Do you feel like that's much, not that much aura? And then I also heard they were enacting hate speech laws, or conservatives were recommending enacting hate speech laws if you say anything about Charlie Kirk. What do you think about that?
That's dumb. I think that's dumb. How can you?
I literally seen this today on Fox News.
Laws, but people can say "in" with the hard ER all the time, and that's not considered hate speech. Beating people up, saying those things, and all type of stuff. I mean. Okay,
so there's actually a reason why I'm showing you these videos. I'm gonna actually tell you after. So, hold on, wait. Oh, but basically, people like in real life have been like going to their jobs and they're like, "Oh, Charlie Kirk is dead." Yes, and apparently, like people are like getting fired from, or recommending other people get fired from their jobs. One, and then two. There's actually apparently a doxing list of people online. If you talk bad about Charlie Kirk, they're apparently doxing niggas. So do you feel like niggas are justified doing this?
On TikToks and all that type of bullshit at work, but usually at work it's certain things that you cannot talk about. You cannot talk about politics and religion. You cannot talk about, they even made it where you can't talk about like current events that's happening around. because you don't know who you're talking in front of and who might be related and who might be offended. So it's just certain things you can't say at work. It just is.
Yeah, that's a fact. But you know, me personally, I feel like about the sainthood of Charlie Kirk, I feel like you know, it's just really you know, Destiny said this, that both sides can use words to describe the exact same thing happening and have entirely different meanings behind the words. But I don't know. I mean, you know, niggas was really like 2024. The amount of jokes I seen about like niggas, like black people, and you know 1350 and well, and all this stuff. I feel like niggas who, you know, if you are a pro edge joke, it's crazy because when Trump had allegedly died, a lot of people were making jokes about it, and then I seen this video about people that were talking about like racist jokes. You know, oh yeah, I love making racist. Oh, I love making you know, jokes about trans people. Oh, I love making jokes about gay people. And then it was like, oh, it makes one joke about the president. And he was like, whoa, you're gonna make a joke about an old man down or whatever. It's crazy how like niggas, you know, how hypocritical certain niggas are. But back to what's recently happened. So Trump is actually in England right now. We'll get to that later. But
all of the moving ways that this White House has paid tribute to Charlie Kirk. Right. Do you think it would have been fitting to lower the flags to half-staff when Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin as well?
I'm not familiar. The
Minnesota House Speaker, a Democrat, who was assassinated this summer.
Well, if the governor had asked me to do that, I would have done that. But the governor of Minnesota didn't ask me. I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I would have if somebody had asked me. People make requests for the lowering of flag, and oftentimes you have to say no because it would be a lot of lowering. The flag would never be up. Had the governor of Minnesota asked me to do that, I would have done that gladly.
And given the killing of Melissa Hortman, the attack on Paul Pelosi, the attack on Gabby Giffords, the attack on the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, why make the case that violence is only on one side? It seems to be taking place.
I say it's on one side, but I say the radical left causes tremendous violence, and they seem to do it in a bigger way. But the radical left really is caused a lot of problems for this country. I really think they hate our country.
So what do you feel about that? Him semi-condemning both sides, while also saying that he would have lowered the flag if would have asked Tim Walz.
Yeah, I don't know any of the people that she named.
Oh,
I don't know what they did or the manner that they died, and I feel like the manner that
they were assassinated.
Yeah, how?
Via, you know,
like
violence.
Was it in like a scene like that? If it was in,
it was like
a
in the
scene
house
like that, then I
like
mean,
niggas working their house, took them out
I mean, I wouldn't have lowered the flag for that. I'm sorry, rest in peace to all of those people, but I wouldn't have lowered the flag for that. To me,
but
the
Charlie
way
Kirk,
you go,
you would
yeah,
the flag, huh?
the way. Now, if he'd have died like in a car accident or something like that,
I don't understand.
Still.
Yeah, but they actually contribute to the government.
I don't know
Charlie
anything
Kirk
about that
isn't
because I
nobody.
haven't tapped in. But I'm saying
Yeah,
in
but
the
they
way
were politicians
in the
who
way
were
that he was assassinated, yeah, I
US
feel like
president
he right to the lower flag.
More than a U.S. politician.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about them.
But you don't know anything about Charlie Kirk either.
No, I don't. But I'm saying, to me.
But he doesn't matter.
To
like
me, the way, you know, I understand they were both assassinated, but I'm talking about in the public matter. In the public manner that he was assassinated, I believe that deserves a lowering of the flag. Now, if he was assassinated in the crib and no, you know, rest in peace, I don't think you should lower the flag for that. Like you said, the flag it'll never be raised.
Yeah, but Trump is in the UK and he's getting super duper glazed, and he's actually not that smart. So we're gonna get to it.
Serving a second term don't normally get a state visit. They might get lunch or tea with the monarch, but this commander-in-chief has made no secret of his affinity for the royals and having the red carpet rolled out for him.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much.
This latest chapter in the special relationship began with a surprise invitation delivered by the British Prime Minister in February.
It's an invitation for a second state visit.
The invite was part of an urgent appeal to win over the American president as he upended the global economy with new tariffs.
The royal family, no pun intended, is the biggest trump card this government can play at big moments of international statesmanship and diplomacy.
CBS News royal contributors Roy Anika and Julian Payne note American presidents have long met with British monarchs, But in 2003, George W. Bush was the first American president to make an official state visit. Barack Obama received one in 2011, and Trump's first was in 2019, when he and Queen Elizabeth reviewed troops at Buckingham Palace. During that visit, he also reconnected with then Prince Charles, who he's known for at least 2 decades.
This is state to state, but this is a genuine personal relationship that is there as well.
This state visit, the traditional greeting and review of the troops, will take place at Windsor Castle, where a state dinner will be held for senior members of Trump's cabinet and top business executives.
There is a huge amount of lobbying to get that ticket.
Well, now, hold on. Spill the tea. What do you have to do to lobby the palace to get a seat at that state dinner?
Well, if I told you that, then you'd know how to get into the next one. I'm afraid there's so much I can tell you, but there's a level beyond which I cannot go.
I tried. Also on the schedule is a first-of-its-kind military flyover, as the British call it, a fly past, involving British and American military jets. And tomorrow we are expected to see William and Kate, the Prince and Princess of Wales, alongside the King and Queen.
All right, so basically he went over there, and this is his second time being over there. I think they said presidents don't go over there twice after coming back. So apparently, you usually get consecutive, 4 years and another 4 years. Apparently, you only go over there for like the first 4 years to meet with the monarchs and then come back. Which, I guess the monarchs, they don't really control everything, but he's meeting with the military. He's discussing business with, the politicians, the real people, and then he's also talking to the kings and queens of Wales and England. And he also had a red carpet rolled out for him. They literally rolled out the red carpet for him. Basically, they're treating him really nicely over there. And while he was over there, he did something very special, I guess we can say. Oh, look at this.
If you are sleeping in a position like
everything. I don't know. They're over there doing rich people shit. When he came there, I mean, they were doing something. I watched a video, but I couldn't get a video. But this is them right now. They're doing rich people stuff, rich, powerful people stuff. But they showed the military, or the English military, to my man's, and he. We have niggas from England. If you don't know, England was actually they weren't the first niggas, but when they came over here, do I have to really explain it? They started the whole everything, the colonies, and we actually took all this shit back from those niggas. And as you can see, they are playing the national anthem of the United States in trumpets while marching down for the president of the United States, while also he is saluting them. So not only is he the first president to ever salute another military and the North Korean military, he also is now saluting the English military, which when I first seen it, I laughed because I didn't know that's like he would do that. I forgot that he does that. But you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to salute other niggas military. And I don't know if niggas salute in England. As you can see, he was the only one doing it. But how do you feel about them glazing that nigga like that?
I love it. I love how they was playing our shit in their country. And I like that he was saluting because they were playing our stuff. Now, if they was marching, playing they shit, then that would be something different.
Why would you, the president of the United States, why would you salute to another? That's like shaking their hands or something. They don't even.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like, I don't know. It's just certain things. I think it's just certain things that you do when that song come on. You stand, you put your hand on your heart, or you salute. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people salute the flag. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I guess since they was doing the song, I guess
it's the song. Now, if it wasn't the song, then it would be something different.
He has to do it, but he did it. You know what I'm saying? He's over there right now. Yeah, he's over there. So yeah, that was it. That's all the topics. That was episode 8. You got anything else to say?
I don't. Thumbs up the video.
Yeah, thumbs up the video, like, comment, subscribe. We are out.